faces are familiar. The jerseys, though, have changed. National emblems emblazoned across the chest. Flags and fervor in the stands. Something different happens on Olympic ice. More space, more speed, more passion. The best have gathered in Torino for a shot at Olympic immortality. And with one epic Torino encounter already in the books.
Score! Sweden has won in a shootout!
Today again, Team USA faces off against Sweden. Torino, the first capital of unified Italy. But on this overcast Sunday, it is the center of the hockey world. Olympic hockey, a thrilling mix of NHL All-Stars, passion, and big upsets. Today, at the Torino Esposizione, two of the Big Six powers clash on Olympic ice as Mike Modano leads Team USA against Sweden on day 9 of the 20th Olympic Winter Games. Good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Jim Lampley. Welcome to the International Broadcast Center. In both men's and women's hockey, there have already been major upsets here. In men's play, Switzerland stunned Canada yesterday 2-0. And on the women's side, the United States is still reeling from a semifinal loss to Sweden on Friday. The United States men take on Sweden today, and we'll air that game live and without interruption. With a preview of the United States versus Sweden game, here are Mike Emmerich and John Davidson.
Jim, thanks very much. In any Olympic tournament, any collection of games, the decision for goaltender is so important. Rick DiPietro was the choice for Game 2 and Game 3. This is the fourth of the 5 preliminaries, and he's the choice again.
Yeah, Mike, he'll start again. He played very well last night, even though it was a 2-1 loss to Slovakia. The coaches thought about it last night after the game, and they said, you know what, we played well. We outchanced, scoring chance-wise, the other club 20-9. Why change anything? They're going to keep the line combinations the same defense, and they're going to go with Rick DiPietro again. He played very well, even though they lost.
Sweden with one of the great emblems of all time, the 3 crowns, and whenever that's being worn in a tournament and Peter Forsberg is wearing it, you know you got to watch him.
Well, he did not play the last 8 games for the Philadelphia Flyers prior to the Olympics. This will be his first appearance here. He's a player that, when he plays his game, the entire club elevates their game. We'll keep an eye on him to see how much he plays. Will those groin injuries bother him or not? But he's a much better player for Sweden, and their team just elevates their game when he plays.
A win will definitely do it. We'll put the U.S. in the quarterfinals. A tie likely will because of goal differential. But that's our setup from here, Jim. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Mike and John. We are just settling into our 3 hours of Olympic coverage this afternoon. In alpine skiing news, the women's Super G was postponed earlier today due to heavy snow. The race has been rescheduled for tomorrow. It will be held between the 2 runs of the men's giant slalom, making for a Super Monday of skiing in the mountains tomorrow. Get online and get your plane tickets now. Coming up next, we'll preview all the day's action when we return to Torino in just a moment.
The 20th Olympic Winter Games on NBC are brought to you by Expedia. Enjoy your trip. And by Saturn.
Hey, John. Hey.
There's a way to treat people like always. There's a way to make cars like never before. Introducing the brand new Aura midsize sedan, the redesigned View SUV, and the first ever Sky Roadster. Saturn.
I like the way you I like the way you put your hands up in the air. Most of all,
Keeping a team of rowdy 20-year-olds in check, Bill is a formidable man. But he was no match for something smaller than a bead of sweat. It KO'd him so fast he didn't even see it coming. It was a clot. Like Bill, if you've been hospitalized with heart-related chest pain or a certain type of heart attack, what doctors call ACS, chances are you've had a clot. But now, Bill's doctor is helping increase Bill's protection against heart attack and stroke by putting Bill on Plavix. Plavix, in combination with aspirin and other heart medicines, helps provide greater protection against heart attack and stroke than aspirin and other heart medicines alone by helping keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you shouldn't use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase. To minimize this risk, talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix. Additional rare but serious side effects could occur.
Ask your doctor about Plavix today, because no matter how formidable you are, you're no match for a dangerous clot.
It's time to enjoy the countdown. To enjoy overpacking and underutilizing. And letting the cats fend for themselves. It's time to enjoy a book you'd only let complete strangers see you read. And to enjoy bragging. It's called travel, and it's time to enjoy it again. America, you are ready for departure. Enjoy your trip. Expedia.
NBC's high-definition coverage is brought to you by the turbocharged 200-horsepower Volkswagen GTI Mark V. Make friends with your fast.
Welcome back. Well, from the mountains to Torino's downtown rinks, it's another busy day of Olympic action here. The two-man bobsled gets underway today, and former kickboxing champion Todd Hayes is the top driver for the United States. For a preview of today's competition, here's Bob Papa.
We're in Cesana Parial, and heavy snowfall affecting the bobsled competition. Mother Nature may play a role in the gold medal race. Bob Papa along with Carol Lewis and John Morgan. So glad you can join us. We are at the start of the men's two-man bobsled. This is where it will all begin tonight. For Todd Hayes, a rough start in this competition. 7th after the first run, Carol. Now in 6th position. What's been his problem?
Well, he said after the race that he's having trouble with his setup. And what I mean by that, his equipment choices. The weather has been very, very different. If you don't choose the right runners, you could be out of the race. But in the second run yesterday, he had the third best time, and that was a positive. Also good news, he's only 5/10 out of the lead and 3/10 out of a medal. Todd Hayes still has a shot.
All right, John, let's take a look at the three favorites here on the top of the leaderboard.
Well, Andre Lange and Kevin Kuska of Germany are the leaders, but last night they did something in the second run at the start, a start mishap. They practiced that technique 1,000 times. This is the first time they faltered. They let everybody back into the field, including Pierre Luders of Canada. He's only 600ths out. Watch out for Martin Annan of Switzerland. He posted the second best time in both heats.
How big of a factor will this snow be?
Hey, when you go to a horse race and it's raining, you think about all those long shots. Right now, those guys in 7th, 8th, and 9th place, they're licking their chaps.
They'll hit 85 miles an hour on the bottom of the track, but just like that, first, second, and third will be decided. Back to Jim Lampley in the studio.
All right, what do NASCAR and bobsled have in common? We'll have the answer to that question a little bit later on. But first, we switch gears from sleds to skates. Last night at the Oval in Goto, the men's 1,000 meters produced one of the most exciting races of these games and an American 1-2 finish, with Chicago's Shani Davis taking the gold and Greensboro, North Carolina's Joey Cheek winning silver. Today, it's the women's 1,000. For a preview, here's Dan Hicks.
Jennifer Rodriguez has won 2 Olympic bronze medals, but gold in Torino is gold. Ani Friesinger is as big a sports celebrity as there is in Germany, but has underachieved when it matters most. And the Dutch are still ecstatic over Irene Wüst's surprise golden run, which fed a speed skating crazed country and turned Wüst into an overnight star. It's the women's turn in the 1,000 meters here at Oval in Goto. The American men have already won 4 speed skating medals here, and the best chance that the American women have of picking up a medal here is in this race from Jennifer Rodriguez, who took bronze in it 4 years ago in Salt Lake.
Well, Rodriguez, a favorite here, but not as much as I would have thought 6 months ago. She trained really hard in September, October. Her legs never quite recovered, but her coaches were really encouraged by her performance in the 500 meters.
And then there's Germany's megastar, Ani Friesinger. definitely disappointed after finishing out of the medals earlier in these games in the 3,000.
Well, Annie Friesinger, an overwhelming favorite in this race, the 1,000 meters, but she always comes into the Olympics as a favorite in any distance she skates. Is she going to be able to live up to that pressure?
And then there's Italy's local favorite, Chiara Simeonato. The Italian men have already picked up the first 2 speed skating medals in history for Italy, and Simeonato's a factor here in this one.
Well, a big factor. She's been skating great leading up. Really going to try to feed off that energy that the men have provided.
And don't forget about Irene Wüst from the Netherlands. She was the gold medal winner in the 3,000 earlier and could be a factor at this distance as well. Jim, back to you.
The men's 1,000 meters certainly lived up to its billing last night at the Oval in Goto, and you can see the women's 1,000 meters in our primetime coverage tonight. Every night in primetime, Jimmy Roberts chronicles the indelible stories of the Winter Games. Here's a preview of tonight's Chevy Moment.
The Olympic Games is a festival of moments, both big and small. There are sometimes, though, the truly significant moments are those that never happen, such is the case with Sean Palmer, one of snowboarding's original bad boys. Sean Palmer almost died, but then the craziest thing happened. The Olympics saved his life. Tonight in prime time, the life and times of Sean Palmer.
Last December, a funny thing happened to 50 million people.
No deal!
They began yelling at their TVs.
19. That's AJ.
Deal or no deal will do that to people. So go ahead and yell all you want, but just remember, they can't hear you.
I told you.
Deal or No Deal is back the Monday after the Olympics on NBC.
I always liked
I like this guy.
To make a phone from Sprint brilliant on the outside, first you focus on the inside. Give it the power to watch live TV with news, sports, and weather at broadband speeds. And download full songs wirelessly right to your Sprint phone. Then bring it to life on the Sprint PowerVision network. Introducing the Samsung A900 exclusively from Sprint. Equally brilliant inside and out. See the future of phones today. Available at Sprint, Nextel, and Radio Shack. Sprint, yes you can.
Car and Driver says, take the Suzuki onto rocky terrain that would be difficult for the RAV4 and CR-V to handle, and the new suspension shines. We'd like to tell you the Suzuki Grand Vitara comes with V6 power, available four-wheel drive, and America's #1 warranty. The all-new Suzuki Grand Vitara. Praise from Car and Driver, an authentic SUV for you. Go. Lease the all-new Suzuki Grand Vitara for just $199 a month for 30 months. Hurry in.
We're self-made too. One small business at a time is how we've grown. That's why we're incredibly proud of the fact that more small businesses in America bank with us than any other bank. In fact, 1 in 4 small businesses in California have chosen Bank of America. 1 in 5 in the Northwest, 1 in 5 in the Southwest, and 1 in 5 in the Northeast. More small businesses in more places bank with us than any other bank, over 2 million. To us, that's thrilling. Do you know what it means to be able to say that to a small business owner who wants to know that we understand their business? I'm Lori Chevy. I'm a banker, and I'm proud to be part of Bank of America. We know every single small business is unique, so we build the teams, customize the solutions, and offer the most sophisticated tools, advice, and service there is. Small business owners put it on the line every day, and every day, we're proud to be in their corner.
Bank of America. Higher standards.
The gates to the garage area at the Daytona International Speedway were unlocked at 7 o'clock this morning. The teams poured in. Crews immediately went to work preparing their cars for the 48th annual running of the Daytona 500. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Weber. 43 teams are chasing the checkered flag in the Great American Race, the biggest race on the NASCAR circuit. Our live NBC Sports coverage begins at 1:30 Eastern Time with the Bank of America countdown to green. We saved you a seat, so we'll see you then live right here on NBC.
An exciting day of racing at Daytona ahead. Here in Torino, some news now to report. Italian police have confirmed that they conducted a raid on the quarters of the Austrian cross-country skiing and biathlon teams Saturday night. At this time, no specific findings have been announced, but authorities plan to conduct tests on confiscated materials. This probe began in the wake of concerns that the 2006 Austrian Olympic team still has ties to banned Austrian official Walter Meyer. Meyer has been banned from the Olympics under suspicion of having performed blood doping at the 2002 Salt Lake Games. We'll get back to hockey in a moment. Coming up next, a special look at the late Herb Brooks.
Introducing the miracle of fusion, a revolutionary technology and a unique idea come together to create new Gillette Fusion. Until now, pressure caused irritation. Fusion has 5 blades spaced closer together to reduce pressure with less irritation and more comfort. Flip Fusion over. A precision trimmer for those tricky places. The comfort of 5 blades, the precision of 1. The best shave ever in manual or battery power. New Gillette Fusion.
You got 118 minutes to get this witness 16 blocks.
Yeah. The kid is gonna hurt a lot of cops.
Where's your seat?
You have a choice to make. The kid or your ex-partner.
Ever since I've been with you, people been trying to shoot me. People you know.
I am your only friend out here.
You don't even know me.
16 blocks.
You're killing me.
Rated PG-13. Starts March 3rd.
I save 50% on my phone bill.
Vonage is $24.99 a month.
For local and long-distance calling. It's a better home phone service.
Voicemail, caller ID, call waiting are all included in the price.
The voice quality is great.
I can keep my same phone and phone number.
Vonage has low international rates.
It's easy.
Vonage, leading the internet phone revolution.
Looking for big savings this President's Day? Circuit City makes it simple. You'll find incredible low prices at Circuit City's President's Day sale. Sunday and Monday only. Log on to CircuitCity.com for amazing web-only specials. You'll save on the coolest TVs, home audio, and more. Plus, stop by the Circuit City nearest you and get no interest store-wide till July 2007 on all purchases $299 and up. Circuit City.
Honey, where are you going?
Just dropping off some videos and running by the cleaners.
Great, I'll go with you.
My Fast likes to keep things light.
Pumpkin, rather not carry the extra weight. Just want to keep things streamlined.
My Fast makes it hard to have a relationship.
The 200 horsepower GTI. Make friends with your Fast.
Welcome back. We remind you, coming up, live and uninterrupted coverage of the United States versus Sweden in men's hockey. The United States' miracle on ice victory over the Soviet Union at the 1980 Lake Placid Games was a transcendent moment. The man behind that monumental achievement was head coach Herb Brooks. But Brooks's association with Olympic hockey was in no way limited to that singular experience in in Lake Placid. As a player, he was the last cut on the 1960 U.S. team, and 4 years ago, he was back behind the American bench in Salt Lake City as the United States won a silver medal. Tragically, Herb Brooks was killed in a car accident in Minneapolis in August 2003. For more on the coach who planned the greatest upset in sports, here's Jimmy Roberts.
I just lead a scared life in this profession. I'll only feel a little better when I get out of coaching. How'd you like to put your wife and children and your future in the hands of a group of 18 to 22-year-old kids?
But he was willing to do just that. He was hopeless. Herb Brooks was a lifer.
He prided himself being a quote-unquote East Sider, which is more, I guess, kind of more of a common man. The neighborhood he grew up in back in the 50s and 60s was pretty much a middle-class neighborhood.
Brooks grew up playing hockey in St. Paul on an open rink with his father as his coach. You have to understand that hockey to a child in Minnesota is like basketball to a kid from the inner city. Brooks tried out for the 1960 Olympic team headed for Squaw Valley. He was the last player cut. It became a moment that shaped the rest of his life.
It was very hard on him in 1960, and I think he was very bitter. I think he resented the fact that he was the last guy cut. I think he used that as a motivation for his career.
Brooks did play for the U.S. in 1964 and 68. His brother Dave played too. If being cut from an Olympic team marked his personality, then actually wearing the jersey marked his soul. He went on to coach the University of Minnesota to 3 national championships, but like it or not, the Olympics had become part of who he was. And when a chance to coach the 1980 team arose, he grabbed it.
You look at the way he coached, you look at the players he selected, they all typically came from more inner cities, you know, a lot of players from the Iron Range in Minnesota, South Boston. He liked guys with similar backgrounds as his.
Brooks always said you couldn't win on talent alone. You needed something else. What he wanted from his players was a combination of heart and brains. Actually, he didn't want it, he demanded it. And he had a unique way of communicating, which later became his trademark.
He told one of the guys on the team one day that he's playing worse every day, and right now he's playing like the middle of next week.
I know I was always next month, because I was always worse than everybody. I wish I was next week, because then I wouldn't have been playing too bad, but it was always, Harrington, you're playing like it's next month.
I always tell people if he wasn't a hockey coach, he would have been a great trial lawyer, a great wartime general, or a great 60s radical, because he just loved to be the underdog. He loved the fight.
Do you believe in miracles? Do you believe in miracles?
Do you believe in miracles?
I do.
By the end of February 1980, it seemed everyone did. What happened that day in the small Adirondack village reverberated around the globe. The words Lake Placid became a new standard for doing the impossible. And kids who weren't even born then have come to understand its gravity, just as baby boomers could surely tell you about Jesse Owens at the 36 games. To this generation, it's a faded clip, but it was one man's life.
Well, I guess, you know, a lot of times the good Lord works in strange ways, and this is something that will grow as years go on.
The team that Herb Brooks loved, the United States men's hockey team, is getting ready to play Sweden here in Torino, and we will have that game live and uninterrupted next. Warm-ups on the ice, familiar NHL faces. Mike Modano, Keith Tkachuk of the St. Louis Blues playing in his 4th Olympics. Mike Modano, playmaking center of the Dallas Stars. They'll be trying to lead the attack against Swedish goalie Henrik Lundqvist, who is the starting goalie for the New York Rangers. The United States against Sweden, live and uninterrupted, coming next.
1 week from Monday on The Apprentice.
I'm originally from London. I'm the highest achiever globally from my company.
The name is Sean, just Sean.
There's sexuality in every part of business. If I can use my sexuality in some way, then of course I will use it.
Whatever works. The Apprentice premieres the Monday after the Olympics on NBC.
Acura MDX. Connect to the modern world, or escape from it.
SBC and AT&T are now united as one and proud to sponsor the U.S. Olympic athletes who for 17 days unite us all, connecting you to the 2006 U.S. Olympic team. The new AT&T. Your world. Delivered.
2, please. Introducing Keep the Change.
There you go. Enjoy the show.
Each time you make a purchase with your Bank of America Visa check card, we not only round up the amount to the next dollar and transfer your change from your checking to your savings account, we also match your savings for the first 3 months and continue matching 5% thereafter. Up to $250, which means there's a new easy way to save right at your fingertips. Open a checking account and keep the change. Only at Bank of America. Higher standards.
You need a car you can afford, right?
Hello?
The sporty Corolla starts at around $14,800.
Sounds good to me.
And it has a 41 MPG rating.
I like those numbers.
Plus, you get awesome styling and available 6-speaker stereo.
I want some of that.
You need an affordable ride? Toyota's got you covered.
Woohoo!
Visit your Toyota dealer now for $500 customer cash or low financing on the new 2006 Corolla. Toyota, moving forward.
Torino Esposizione is the site as Team USA continues here on the 4th day of the men's tournament. Today's opponent, a tough one, Sweden, and its star Peter Forsberg. Puck drop at 11:05 a.m. Eastern. And good morning, everyone. Welcome to our studio. Bill Clement, an 18-year NHL vet, Ray Ferraro. Ray and I have been searching for clarity on the two groups, trying to figure out who is going to move into the quarterfinals. And I believe, finally here on day 4, we see the light.
Well, the first 3 days have been absolutely confusing. It's almost mind-numbing trying to clarify in your mind who is going to go forth. Here we get in and we see 3 teams in Group B have solidified their place in the crossover game. The U.S. sits in 4th place. It's pretty simple for the U.S. A win and they're in. If they do not win, there are some permutations that can still happen, but their lead on Latvia in the goal differential is so big, they should be just fine.
But I imagine they are where they want to be, at least Team USA, because they control their own destiny. They know if they win, they get into the 4, but they're going to have to get offense, I imagine, from somebody else. They've scored fewer than 3 goals a game through their first 3 games, and they've been riding one line.
They certainly have, and it's the line that features Scott Gomez and Brian Gionta from the New Jersey Devils, along with Keith Tkachuk. Gomez leads the U.S. with 3 assists in the first 3 games. Gionta leads the team along with Brian Ralston with 2 goals each. Their winger on that line is Keith Tkachuk. Tkachuk does not have a point, but has played very well. He is going to have to produce today against a very difficult Swedish team. This line has been terrific for the U.S., but they're going to need some help. Doug Weight and Mike Modano are 2 players you may want to focus on.
Goaltending?
It's going to be Rick DiPietro again. DiPietro played fine, played very well actually in the last contest.
All right, the United States and Sweden coming up. Doc Emmerich, John Davidson, and Pierre Maguire will have the call right after these messages.
Surfing on a cruise ship? Only on Royal Caribbean's newest, most innovative ship ever, Freedom of the Seas. Check it out at RoyalCaribbean.com and get out there.
From the studio that brought you Hoodwinked comes the most entertaining adventure of the year, starring Jon Stewart. I am the Lord of the Springs. Jimmy Fallon. I'm precious.
Whoa. Kidding.
And Whoopi Goldberg.
Hammer time.
Dougal, Rated G. Coming to theaters Friday.
Vanetta's sledding. 4, 1 more, 5, 6, 7, 8, silver's good, but gold is green.
They're ready. Are you? Look inside a Coke fridge pack, cheer for Team USA, and win a prize when they win.
The 2006 Saturn Ion. Now, qualified buyers can get a 2006 Saturn Ion 2 with 0% APR financing for 4 years. See your retailer for details.
Paul, you gonna hit that or hatch it?
Sorry, this whole finding the right woman thing is just driving me crazy.
You just gotta change your game and change your pants.
Match.com is now working with Dr. Phil. We'll show you who, he'll show you how. Visit Match.com today.
Hey guys, just thought you might want to know, sales aren't up, they're down. Yes, sir.
Want a new job?
we've got the most. CareerBuilder.com. A better job awaits.
With some afternoon snow falling, fans of both countries are ready for their teams in this next to last, the fourth of 5 preliminary games. Team USA is 1-1-1. Team Sweden is 2-1-0. Hi, everybody. Along with John Davidson, I'm Mike Emmerich, looking forward to another one. You can hear the fans here. They're cranked up for it, too. Team USA has played 3 games and only scored 7 goals. Only one yesterday, only one by the defense. Seems they have to generate more.
Well, you know what's interesting, Mike, is they've averaged 36 shots on goal per game. Against Slovakia, they lost 2-1, but they had 20 quality scoring chances. They hit 2 goal posts and a crossbar. So the coaches have said, listen, line combination's the same. Keep playing the same game, only let's try to get some finish going here and score some goals. Remember, they have Sweden today, then they finish up with Russia 2 days from now. They need to find some scoring.
The focus for Sweden is always on Peter Forsberg, number 21. He's been somewhat limited in this tournament so far.
Well, when you think of a team like Sweden, this is a club that's trying to build and get its good players going. Peter Forsberg did not play for Philadelphia the last 8 games they played prior to the Olympics because of a groin problem. And he may not play a lot of minutes today, but when he does, he's dangerous. He's one of the best players in the world. He can move the puck like nobody else. He's a great finisher. We'll watch and see how much he plays today. They have Team USA, then they finish up with Slovakia. It should be a great game here.
The proud jersey of the 3 crowns. The proud jersey of USA. The ice is ready. The fans are ready. Great atmosphere inside. Henrik Lundqvist and Rick DiPietro have taken their practice shots. We're ready.
Ingeniously designed to help protect the things that need protecting. Energy-absorbing ACE body structure, standard on the all-new Civic. Only from Honda.
So the papers came through. I'm officially in charge of my own investments. I want to get some help, but I want someone I can work with. Someone to listen to my ideas, not just make all the decisions for me. That'll be a change after Larry.
We all want our children to achieve their dreams. That's why one company is meeting the demand for cleaner energy by investing more than ever in natural gas. Because what we dream today, we can achieve tomorrow.
Hey, you feel like going out? I'm bloated, irregular. Probably stressed from exams. And look how it makes us eat. So how come you're okay? I eat Activia every day.
Introducing smooth, delicious Dannon Activia. With the natural culture Bifidus regularis, it's clinically proven to help naturally regulate your digestive system in 2 weeks.
It's good. I feel great.
Help naturally regulate your digestive system in 2 weeks.
Now let's get out of here.
Imagine seeing a network that connects us all. SBC and AT&T have joined forces to create the most complete and secure network on Earth, so you can create a world unlike any other. Yours. Introducing the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
If you consider the history of Swedish hockey, the fact that Mats Sundin will start at center for Sweden, that Peter Forsberg will not take the opening faceoff, that he is sitting at the bench, does not have his helmet on, this is quite unusual. It has come from a past of injuries, as John has mentioned. There will be leadership that he will have by his presence, but of course not nearly as much as he could bring to the ice.
What could be interesting is if the Team USA builds up a lead in this game, hypothetically, I wonder if they'd play him a little bit then. You know, he's there as a weapon. They just want to be careful to get him into game shape, playing games a little bit, but not re-injuring the groin problem that he's had for a good solid month now, and maybe have him even more available as the tournament moves along. They have one game left in the prelim round, and that is with Slovakia.
The captain of Team Sweden is Mats Sundin. He will take the opening draw. Fredrik Modin and Daniel Alfredsson as wingers against the line of Brian Ralston, Eric Cole, and Mike Modano. No changes in the line combinations for Team USA. Jordan Leopold and Darian Hatcher will be the defense. Nicholas Lidstrom and Matthias Olin the defense for Sweden. All of these starters are NHL players. The lineup for Team USA completely NHL. Almost all for Sweden, as the first chance was up high off Sundin and may have gotten through to DiPietro. But back out on the attack, Eric Cole of the Carolina Hurricanes trying to get by the defense, but offside is called. A guy you get to see a lot during the course of the winter, and what an exciting year he's had, Henrik Lundqvist.
Top 3 in the NHL for rookies this season. He said to me prior to today's game, or tonight's game here, that the bigger ice surface has given him a bit of a problem. He can't go out as far. He said the shooters have more time to shoot the puck, and they make longer passes because of the wider ice here in this building, so he's trying to adjust his game.
A hold by Rick DiPietro. The ice surface is approximately 15 feet wider than you would see in an NHL rink in North America.
And yet we see just immense pace in these games, and we have seen a ton of physical play. Really, really serious, hard physical play.
Charnquist out of the Minnesota Wild with a backhander. Oh, a forehand shot rattled off both DiPietro and also got the post. A close call for Sweden early, and icing is called against Team USA. What a rattler by Mikko Hanala.
Hanala with the shot. He plays in the Swedish Elite League, and you're going to see him take the wrist shot up high and off the outside of the goalpost. So Sweden starts quickly here. That was not long after the faceoff had happened, and just about 1-0 in favor of Team Sweden. Team Sweden's second-tier players are playing very well in this tournament so far. They're big players, led by Mats Sundin, who has tried hard. They have not gotten anything going. Their top line has not gotten anything going for them yet in this tournament.
Oh, good hit across the way as Keith Tkachuk boomed into the Swedish defenseman, Ronnie Sundin. No relation to the captain, Mats Sundin. This is sent back in, and Chris Chelios from Team USA, the captain and a Red Wings defenseman, plays this one ahead. Red Wings fans near Detroit will see a lot of familiar names. Matthew Schneider, the defense partner for Chelios right now, and 4 members of the Red Wings are on Team Sweden, including Thomas Holmstrom, 96 in the blue uniform, who's out there right now. Aaron played this one back in. Kenny Jönsson, one-time New York Islander, played that one back out. Jönsson, a member of the Swedish gold medal team from 1994 that won in a shootout thanks to Peter Forsberg. Pass ahead, escaped all the way back for Nicholas Lidstrom. Wanted to play it ahead. Henrik Zetterberg turns it back on to Holmstrom. Lots of Red Wings out there right now as it's cleared back in by Matthias Olin of the Vancouver Canucks and held by Lidstrom and kept alive for a blast. Patted down and held by DiPietro.
We've got some bumping early in this game as Peter Laviolette's trying to talk to his players at the bench. He's talking to his forwards. There's the hit by Keith Tkachuk, even though he went down on the play. That's 230 pounds coming at you hard. Mike Sullivan will change the defense. Peter Laviolette will change the forwards, and Keith Allain will keep track of what the other team's doing, what their line combinations are, who's playing the most, who's not playing.
Lidstrom, a shot that's deflected to the boards behind and allowed boom as Olin comes in. Close quarters able to play for Daniel Sedin, one of the Sedin twins, both of them out there right now, numbers 12 and 20. The other twin is Henrik, both play for the Vancouver Canucks.
And have had a great season. They have Michael Samuelsson as their winger here. Anson Carter is their usual winger in Vancouver. This line here has been exceptional for Sweden in the tournament.
Mike Knuble battling on the boards along with Henrik Sedin, and it's turned back out by Lidstrom. Gibbs on to Henrik Sedin, and he played it back in. DiPietro out of his goal to get it. Dumped to the half boards and floated back by Daniel Sedin, and then cleared back down, and there'll be an icing resulting from this.
For Sweden, if you wonder what style they play, that's Bent Gustafsson. Former player, had a great career mostly with the Washington Capitals in the NHL. They are playing a defense-first style. They will be very creative and go with the puck if they get the puck, but they're going to do their best to not give up scoring chances. That's much different than how Sweden played at Salt Lake City one Olympics ago when they played something called a torpedo, which was a four-man rush. It was a brand-new system. They've changed and gone back to their defensive style.
In Salt Lake, they were eliminated by Belarus 4-3 in the quarterfinals. Moving ahead is Cole Bennett. Oh, and stoned on the play was Ralston by Lundqvist. A shot by Leopold, pinballed back out, and striding across his Hatcher. Diving play knifed it from him by Daniel Alfredsson, and Hatcher recovers. Giveaway, and a shot is deflected up into the mesh.
Well, Team USA is going to start pulling their hair out when they have these chances and can't finish. This was some pass by Cole. He usually tries to beat the defenseman with speed. Instead, he stopped. Look at the pass, a quick finish. Oh, it hit the outside of the net, Mike. That replay showed that Ralston did not put the puck on the net itself. It looked to us like Lundqvist had stopped it with his right pad, but I do believe it hit the outside of the net.
Despite scoring the only goal for Team USA in the loss to Slovakia yesterday, 2-1, Ralston did have some post shots. The team came very close a number of times. That's the reason that Peter Laviolette decided, let's not break up the lines, because they did generate something, and here comes something. A shot, and DiPietro grabs that one from Sammy Paulson.
Did you see that pass by Christian Backman coming back from injury? He belongs to the St. Louis Blues. He's a young star for their hockey club. His pass to Paulson was beautiful. I asked Mats Naslund, the general manager of this club, who's playing well for you? One of the players he mentioned was Paulson. And look at him cut to the middle on the forehand. That was all set up by a gorgeous, gorgeous pass by number 8, Christian Backman.
Mats Naslund was a member of the Swedish Olympic team in 1992 at Albertville against Keith Tkachuk and Team USA. They pulled their goaltender in the final minute, and just as Bill Baker and Team USA did in 1980 at Lake Placid, when they pulled Jim Craig, they were able to score and get a tie out of that preliminary round game. Puck fed back across now. Schneider a shot, and it was deflected wide. Pinching along and bumping his man is Bill Guerin. That was P.J. Axelson he stepped into.
Like
Axelson of the Boston Bruins.
You mentioned all those Detroit Red Wing players for Sweden. How about Kjell Nilsson and Schneider? I mean, playing against them, this has got to be one weird game for them, huh? Don't you think? Weird.
Well, they know the moves, don't they? Especially the defense would know some moves on guys like these. Drive is deflected up into the mesh off Zetterberg.
And that was Zetterberg, a great player for Detroit, the Red Wings. And he went in, and it was Matthew Schneider, a terrific defenseman for the Detroit Red Wings, who blocked the shot, Pierre.
You gentlemen are talking about the play of Sammy Paulson and Henrik Zetterberg. One of the things that really helped the Swedish-born players last year during the lockout, they all spent a lot of time playing over it. Sundin didn't and Lidstrom didn't, but most of the other guys did. And one of the players who really improved was Sammy Paulson. He played on a line with P.J. Axelson and Daniel Alfredsson. For Vaska Frölunda, they won the championship. Their goaltender was Henrik Lundqvist.
Pretty good. And this pass went behind him in the cage. Holmstrom slugged it back out. Sometimes when we talk about the World Championships, it gets sort of lost in the fog of international play, and most North American fans are preoccupied with the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs at that time. Knuble tries to get by. Last year there was a lockout, and these two teams had a lot of the players you're seeing today on them when they met the World Championships. Team USA won that 5-1, and the goaltender was Rick DiPietro. Henrik Lundqvist was Sweden's goalie. Jammed in on him, and he's able to hang on there.
Lidstrom and Jason Blake, and I like a little bit of attitude in the game. Jason Blake, when he's playing his best hockey, has a lot of attitude on the ice. This forces the face-off in the Swedish zone. Talking to Mats Naslund, he said Lidstrom, he said he had a little bit of a slow start to the tournament. Now he's back. He's got his game going, and when he's got his game going, 3 times he's been awarded the best defenseman in the season during the season for the NHL defenseman. So that tells you how good he is. It's called the Norris Trophy. He's won it 3 times, and he's been runner-up 3 other times.
Charnquist played that one back around. Daniel Charnquist saw this one lost, though, and brushed back by Brian Rafalski. Rafalski and Brett Hedican, the defense now for Team USA. Hedican just pivots. The line is Scott Gomez, Brian Giunta, and Keith Tkachuk. The line that's generated most of the scoring and most of the scoring chances for the United States. But meanwhile, this is carried off by Daniel Sedin. Drops it back onto Michael Samuelson. Then back up and set for Henrik. And the shot was over the glove hand of DiPietro and wide. Brought back on by Scott Gomez with a point in each of Team USA's games. The only guy to get that. Behind is Lundqvist. Hawked by Gomez. Turned over to Gionta. Centered across. And Hatcher settles it down. Lobs it along for Gomez. Twists one to Tkachuk in the shot. And that hit Gionta in the leg behind the net. Railed back off and trying to hold it in, but unable to do so. That time was Jordan Leopold. Tkachuk lays it back ahead. Gomez run into by Charnquist after he passed that one along, and Kenny Jonsson is up with that one. His brother Jorgen also on this Team Sweden squad. Around behind it comes to be poked on by Cole. Nice move there. Tried to center, but couldn't get it to Ralston. Mats Sundin protects and directs on to Daniel Alfredsson. Brought back ahead by Modin and given to Alfredsson once more. Nice move to get by. Fed one across, and it's deflected just wide by Christian Backman, the defenseman who moved up on the play. Dug out by Sundin. Persistently trying to center on him was Modano. Floated back to the point for a shot. Patched up. Rebound. Score! Backhand goal by Daniel Alfredsson. His fourth of the tournament. 1-0.
Well, we were talking about the Swedish club wants to get their big line going. Sundin, Modin, and Alfredsson. The puck was shot at the net. There's the rebound, and DiPietro tried to get up. He couldn't, so he threw his arms in the air. The rebound got away, and there's the beautiful backhander right underneath the crossbar. Daniel Alfredsson has had a world-class season playing for the Ottawa Senators, and if that line gets going in this tournament for Team Sweden, watch out.
Pierre?
Well, one of the things the Americans did right in that situation, they had Leopold and Hatcher on the ice for the big line matchup against the Swedish top line. The problem is Leopold and Hatcher are both on the same side of the ice. That allowed separation for Daniel Alfredsson. They started running around too much in their own zone. We saw that a little bit against Slovakia. Very important for the American defensemen to lock their lanes and just stay in position, not run around against the cycling Swedes.
Okay, thanks, Pierre. Three-time Olympian Daniel Alfredsson has just come up with his fourth of the tournament, 7th overall in the Olympic Games. So he does get them at very important times. First goal of this contest, and it came 7:05 into the first period, as this is near Lundqvist, but goes over the line for a no-touch icing. It has been hard getting goals. They have generated chances. They've averaged 36 shots a game, but just have not been able to score. Brian Ralston with one of the better chances early. Hit the outside of the net, and there was a great combination that Ralston nearly scored on in the first minute and a half.
And then Kenny Jonsson in on the assist, one of the assists on the goal by Alfredsson. Used to play for the Islanders, decided to go back, leave the Islanders and play in Sweden. He had real concussion problems in Sweden. You play fewer games per season, a little less hazardous to your body. So he made that decision, and they missed him. He's a good defenseman.
Speaking of hazards to the body, Nicholas Havelet is not able to be in the Swedish lineup today, an injury that he has.
A puck to the knee. He has x-rays, but the leg is sore enough that he can't play. And Matty Nordstrom, the fine defenseman with the LA Kings, he can't play. They're worried about his concussion.
The jostling in the corner. Turning with it, trying to work along further is Mike Knuble. The two-a-side forward battle. Jason Blake there. The other forward is Conroy, and the pass came near him, but was kicked aside by Olin. Picked up and controlled again by Sammy Paulson, and Paulson just rifles it back out. This will go down for an icing.
No icing, waved off by the other linesman. Sometimes when the puck goes slow, the defenseman slows down to try to make sure it's going to be an icing, and the linesman did not go for the decoy.
Steve Miller is one of those gentlemen, an NHL linesman since 2000 from Canada. This forced to the back. Chelios a shot, and a pad stop by Lundqvist, and moving back out is Thomas Holmstrom. Marches back in with Jorgen Jonsson. Down to the ice went Holmstrom, and a penalty coming up. It's going to be one of each.
They locked onto each other, teammates with the Detroit Red Wings. Holmstrom is an aggressive player, likes to get nasty, likes to create problems, and did he take a smash from Schneider? Then they held on to each other a little bit. Holmstrom went down, and the referee gives them both penalties.
Dan Marawelli of Canada. The referee was Steve Miller of Canada, the linesman, and Thomas Gemeinhardt of Germany. There was some talk about the linesman in last night's game against Slovakia when a penalty in the, or rather a delay in the last minute. Looked like Team USA was going to be able to keep play alive, but it was whistled down by the linesman. But it is all a part of what happens with human error. Off this draw, and if you allow it to creep into the next game, you're in big trouble. But here's Hedican, dropping it on back. 4-on-4 action here. Pass filtered through by Lyles. Hedican drops it back. Cole flings one to the front, towed away by Lundqvist. Jammed behind by Ronnie Sundin. Played out in front, and that one is knocked away from Turnquist. Right in front, on a save! Made by Lundqvist on goal. A great opportunity. Eric Cole right at the front of the crease.
There's no question in my mind. 9:21 into this first period that Eric Cole's been the best player for Team USA. He set up that play with Ralston. He gets this one here. Earlier, he took the shot that had the toe of the skate make the save for Lundqvist. Lundqvist's a smart goalie. Look where his catching glove is. It's up above his pad. He makes a nice save and hangs on. Eric Cole's in this game. He's playing well early.
Gomez playing out with Ralston right now for the four-a-side Team USA. 36 gone on the coincidental minors as it's helped across for Daniel Sedin, but it's Ralston taking over. Out of Lake Superior State University, all but 5 of the members of Team USA are former college players. Turning with this now is Scott Gomez. Anchorage, Alaska native, tucks it onto Ralston, who moves across. Can't get the shot away, tried a pass that was broken up, but regathered now by Gomez, who circles. Gomez looking, Ralston at the front. A shot went wide of Lundqvist, who was perhaps preoccupied with Ralston, but no harm. Now Gomez right back on for Big Darian Hatcher. Wedged a pass that is cut off in front by Olin.
And as all this was going on, Eric Cole, after being knocked down to the ice with that last scoring chance, went to the bench and they were working on his left shoulder. He seems to be okay now.
Here is Sundin, a shot fought off by DiPietro. A deceptive wrist shot from Matt Sundin. Now played on by Doug Waite, brought on by Hatcher. Crisscrosses with Mike Knuble and gains the zone. Hatcher feeds, taken on by Waite. Great passer, circles to the outside. Then back on to Hatcher again. 15 seconds from now, both get a man back. This is blocked, and it'll be an odd man rush as Alfredson had trouble starting out. Got it on now for Olin. Flipped one to the slot, and a shot is scorched wide by Sundin. Laid on back to center and fanned out by Nick Lidstrom as both teams get their men back. Snyder is out, so is Holmstrom. Full strength action. 9 to go. First period of play. The shots are 5-4 Team USA. Kenny Janssen and Sundin assisted on the Alfredson goal at 7:05. That's the only one. Twisting behind now is Hanula. Gives onto the back for a shovel shot by Turnquist that ricocheted off the defense of Leopold. Outletted neatly back onto Ralston. Has a good shot, but will carry in this time. Work it across and dealt back in once more by Brett Hedican. Oh, a great hit along the boards. And credit on that one goes to Eric Cole.
You see how he turned? He hit with his right shoulder, not his left. His left is the one that they were working on the bench moments ago.
Good shoulder by Ralston. Turning from offense to defense, Team Sweden deflected away by Schneider so it can be twisted on back by Cole. Able to get by one, but just held back enough by P.J. Axelson to slow him down. Axelson, a great defensive-minded player from the Boston Bruins, who oftentimes gets the assignment of stopping the big gunner on the other team.
I was in Washington for a game, and they have the great player Ovechkin playing there. Alfredson, he shot him down cold. It was unbelievable how he played against him in that particular game.
It's like the jerseys were Velcroed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
Kenny
Janssen. That's right, you were with me there. We've done so many games.
This is turned back on now for control by Team USA. Billy Guerin throws it back out. Waite tried to get by. Fought back on, and Drury moves in, but Bill Guerin goes in for the hit. Drury goes in for the follow-up. Nudged it around behind. Turning is Doug Waite. Waite there in front. Drury, oh, and it went off the stick of the Swedish defenseman. Kenny Janssen got a piece of that. Meanwhile, on the boards, they battle some more. Turning along now is Christian Backman of the St. Louis Blues, giving it back out to Henrik Zetterberg. Moves up with Holmstrom, gave it to the opposite side, though, and it is just slugged back in deep by Jorgen Janssen. Now Olin. A little over 7 minutes to go in this period. Olin drifts to the outside. Carefully played game so far. The shots are 6-4 in favor of Team USA. Persistent work by Derian Hatcher done on Daniel Sedin. Now Samuelsson pivots. Henrik Sedin, the other forward out there. Scott Gomez knifed it away. Henrik Sedin is taken out of the plan. It's nudged on by Rafalski for a play to be made back by Brian Giunta. Sweden circling. Henrik Sedin gave it back. Team USA, a little bit of a defensive scheme here. It's popped off Scott Gomez, knocked down by Samuelsson.
Boy, these two teams are playing chess right now. We're not seeing the really crazy up and down game we're used to seeing, but they're playing smart.
When you see Hatcher battling on the opposite side half boards, he has got an assignment that he's following through on with a vengeance. Centering pass came back on for a shot off the outside of the net near the post. Cleared onto the back and again kept alive by Ronnie Sundin.
The whole key is to keep teams to the outside in your own zone. Try to get to the middle. And if you can, you'll get a reasonable scoring chance. And both these teams have been disciplined, except for the one play. And the Swedes were able to score the only goal we've seen so far.
Turn back over. Wrist shot. Save Lundqvist from Jason Blake. Knuble took care of his man. Follow-up from Mike Modano. Spun it to the point. Hatcher a drive, and that hit a leg in front of Turnquist. Twisted back out. 2-on-1 for Sweden. Brought in by Modin. Gave it a cross. Shot. Save DiPietro on Sundin.
Oh, that was big. That was big.
Daniel Alfredsson was cruising up the wing. Let go with a terrific shot, but DiPietro got it.
Well, it's a 2-on-1. The shot never got through towards the Swedish net. It came back the other way, and it was a 2-on-1 forced to one side by Hatcher, who did a good job. That allowed DiPietro to know where the puck is coming to that side of the net. He stood his ground and made a good save on Alfredsson. The shot was going through to Lundqvist. It was blocked by Starnquist. He made a great play with his leg to knock the puck away from the Swedish net.
Here's Alfredsson with a drive, and that went off a leg. Alfredsson out there with Matt Sundin, not getting this time, and Modin, that got to the front of the net before it was spiked away as Frederick Modin almost got lucky. Played on now by Ralston, flipped back ahead, bouncing puck, and Modano was able to elude the man, but couldn't come up with it. Alfredsson behind, and Eric Cole, what a force so far. Waltzes in with Alfredsson, he tumbles to the ice. There's going to be a penalty coming up, and it's going to be on Mike Modano.
Boy, Cole worked hard, and then as the puck moved up the sideboards, Dan Marawelli saw Mike Modano trip up a Swedish player, so the Swedes will have a power play here. Earlier in this period, Eric Cole was in front of the Swedish net, had himself a scoring chance, and then he got knocked down there and crunched into the ice. His left shoulder took all the pressure of the play. And there you can see he's having it worked on. The next shift, watch how he throws the check with his right shoulder. He threw a good hit, but not the left shoulder. He wanted to be careful with it, but he still got involved in it. He's played great here in the first period.
Stan Wong, the man in charge of such things for Team USA, was working on him at the bench as Kenny Jonsson lays it across for Zetterberg. Zetterberg ahead, shoved it back on for Backman. Turned back to the point, settled down there and handed on to Zetterberg. For the alley blocked by Chris Chelios. Backman right back onto Zetterberg again. Laid it around behind, centering pass by Jörgen Jonsson, and it's lifted back down. Greg Conroy, defensive-minded there on the penalty kill for Team USA. They've made a change up front now as right back comes Zetterberg. Zetterberg pestered by Mike Knuble, drifts away. Pass came on back to Alfredsson, twisted it along now for control by Michael Samuelsson. Sent to the back, held there, dropped back on by Nick Lidstrom. Zetterberg on that side now. Holmstrom at the front of the net to the outside. Pulling the trigger but getting nothing was Samuelsson. Zetterberg forced it back. Alfredsson there. Given back to him once more. Drive! Good glove save by DiPietro.
Alfredsson plays the point, the defense position as a forward for the Ottawa Senators. He's awesome back there on the power play. Samuelsson takes a shot, and this time instead of shooting it, he moves it back, and there's a shot and a real, just a kind of an almost, you know, it's my puck save by DiPietro. A snare of the puck with authority as he makes a good save.
Over halfway through the penalty kill for the United States, and they force them back again. Brian Ralston is up front along with Eric Cole. And it's Hatcher in back with Leopold as Nick Lidstrom brings it ahead. Matt Sundin is out to join all of this now. Brought back ahead by Alfredson, and he has Modine up front as well. And the other forward is Michael Samuelson. So brought ahead and handed on to Sundin. Dropped on back to Lidstrom, then given on for Modine. Lidstrom back on for Modine again, then close quarters to Samuelson, fanned it out, got it on to Sundin, pass in front, deflected back down, 15 to go on the kill.
4 games and 5 nights for both of these clubs, and they have played at an unbelievable pace so far in this tournament. The pace in this period not nearly as quick.
Here is Sundin, strips it across. Modine drive, well off the mark. Bounced on back to Charnquist. Teams are back in full strength. Team USA on the offensive, but a pass hits the heel of Conroy's skate and brushed up along the mid-ice boards. Modano got it back quickly from Matthew Schneider. Rifled it ahead, but it went off of Blake. Protected pretty well and punched across by Schneider, and a penalty coming up. It'll be against Sweden. A feed in from Modano. He scores! Mike Modano! 1-1.
It started with a great penalty kill by Team USA. It could have been 2-0 if they gave up a goal. They didn't. They were solid as a team, killing off the Swedish power play, and then they had a chance to go to work. The puck has moved up. It's kind of lost. There was going to be a penalty. It was Matthew Schneider that kept the play alive. Chelios down low. Watch Conroy's pass on the backhand. Oh, baby, was that a beautiful pass. Great effort right there by Schneider to keep the play alive. And then Chelios had to make a play, which he did, down to Conroy, out to Modano. The puck was in the net. You know, it took everybody on the ice for Team USA to do their jobs and make it happen. And we have a 1-1 game.
Mike Modano's second goal of the tournament. For Modano in Olympic play, that is goal number 4 for him. And this is game number 14. But significant, John mentioned, 4 games in 5 days. That is traveling and a lot of travel problems for Team USA. We just give you that as a little background. Not in terms of an excuse. Everyone who has come here from the NHL has had to adjust to the time and do it quickly. But they will have tomorrow off while the women decide the bronze and the gold, Pierre.
Mike Modano's a man of his word. Before the game, I had a chance to visit with him briefly, and he says to me, I've got 2 in this stick today. Well, he's got 1 of the 2. Mike Modano's been jamming for the United States all tournament long. I don't know if you agree with this or not, John, but I think he's been the best face-off player in this tournament. He's been absolutely awesome in terms of puck possession skills.
The U.S. has 3 of the top 6 face-off men in the tournament. The Drury's been really good. Modano's been good, and Conroy's been good. All 3 of them. That's a big part of any game. When you have 3 men like that can win draws, all of a sudden you get the puck a lot more than the other team does.
Drury comes in today at 79%. Here is Gianta moving it ahead. Oh, he got out of the way of most of that hit that was coming from Sammy Paulson. Meanwhile, turning with it is Keith Tkachuk. Given a pretty good shoulder shrug to the boards by Backman.
And I think they're teammates in St. Louis.
Sure are.
This is a real deal. Olympic gold, that's what they're all chasing. And it doesn't matter what your NHL club is. It matters who you play for, which country it is. And these players have just been awesome in this tournament.
Henrik Sedin played that one back in. There are 30 NHL general managers. Some of them are here. And some of them, whether here or back home, are wincing when they see some of these hits. But it has been a physical tournament so far. Think that, well, they're professionals, they're going to take it easy. No, not a chance. Do you think this is more physical tournament than we had in Salt Lake?
Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, without question, because I think the bottom-level teams are much better than what they were in Salt Lake City, and the competition has been more even. I know a couple of teams are starting to fade now, like Kazakhstan and Latvia. But, boy, the grit of the Swiss and the Germans and the Italians and all these teams, it's awesome. It's almost frightening how much grit we've seen from these players.
It has been a tough tournament to call all along, and it's getting tougher by the day as Eric Cole burrows back in. Cole swept one in front, and it trickled through for Jorgen Janssen, who just lifts it back out beyond the leaping stick of Cole. Then Hatcher, then Leopold, banked back off, taken by Modano. More confidence for the United States. Banked into Cole. Side of the net was just beyond the reach of Ralston behind it. Down to the back. Hatcher, a shot, and it went wide. To the last 15 of the period. Leopold guides it along. Chased off for a moment was Modano. Modano tried to pull it away and walk, still working. Down to the last 5, a shot into the glove of Lundqvist by Leopold.
Just 3 seconds to go in the period. We'll quickly show you what happened last night. Jaromir Jagr was tattooed by Ruutu of Finland. A bad cut to Jagr, who was wearing
He hit him when he was bent.
a cheaper helmet, in my opinion, not the NHL-style helmet. Jagr is okay. 3 cuts to the head, no concussion, no shoulder problem, and I've been told that he's okay. And boy, that's great for the NHL. It's great for the world of hockey.
Pierre?
Well, that's the same helmet that Jaromir Jagr used when he was playing with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that's how old that helmet is.
Yeah, the NHL, I think, makes players wear a much more solid helmet, which provides a little more protection, as Keith Tkachuk's going to try to win the faceoff here. Couldn't with 3 seconds to go. Team USA, after they killed that penalty, owned the period. We have a 1-1 period. Modano scored. The Jagr situation is that he's, from what I've been told, healthy, should be okay and ready to go. And there's a lot of people all over the world that admire good players, and they're happy to see that he's healthy.
Czechs will play Italy later on today. So it is 1-1 at the end of the first period. Shots are 8-6 Team USA. Jim Lampley over on the other side.
The Great American Race in only one place. The Daytona 500 today on NBC.
This Olympic moment brought to you by The Office, returning the Thursday after the Olympics on NBC.
Admit one to Hyundai's Auto Show event. Your ticket to $500 bonus cash only during the Chicago Auto Show. Plus up to $3,000 cash back on select models. With special Auto Show savings on the acclaimed all-new Hyundai Sonata. Not to mention Hyundai's award-winning quality backed by America's best warranty. So hurry to your dealer for up to $3,000 cash back before the event closes February 28th. At Hyundai. During Hyundai's Auto Show event, don't miss your $500 bonus cash on the all-new Sonata.
I know sometimes you wonder, what's the governor up to? Well, 4 years ago, in the face of a $5 billion deficit and job losses, you asked me to get things done. It might surprise you to learn the progress we've made. I held the line on income and sales taxes by closing corporate loopholes. We passed all kids, making Illinois the only state to provide access to comprehensive health care for every single child. We increased school funding by more than $2 billion while raising graduation standards. We protected Illinois seniors from Medicare cuts. Now I want a new $1,000 per child tax credit for college and a jobs bill that will create 230,000 more jobs across Illinois. Over the years, I've ruffled feathers, had some rocky moments, added a second child, and learned how to get things done. I'm a little older and hopefully wiser, but one thing hasn't changed. I'm as committed as ever to work for you. Thanks for the chance.
2, 3, 4, Vanetta's sledding. 4, 1 more. 5, 6, 7, 8. Silver's good, but gold is great.
Yeah, nice. Good. I like it. They're ready. Are you? Look inside a Coke fridge pack, cheer for Team USA, and win a prize when they win.
If you're gonna support the team, you gotta stay refreshed. So stock up on refreshing Coca-Cola products available at your local Jewel Osco. Drink, watch, cheer, win.
This Hockey Intermission Report is brought to you by Lenovo.
All right, welcome back. I'm Jim Lampley at the International Broadcast Center. First period intermission at men's hockey. Scintillating game. Score tied at 1. After our Olympic coverage this afternoon, it's the Daytona 500. Jeff Bodine, who won the Great American Race 20 years ago, has more than a passing interest in today's two-man bobsled event here. He's the driving force behind a resurgence in America's fortunes on the bobsled track. With more, here's Brian Williams.
It's the same as a race car. You have a team, you have a crew, you have the driver, you have aerodynamics, and if you don't have any one thing perfect, you're not going to win the Daytona 500 and you're not going to win the Olympics.
It began with a phone call between NASCAR driver and NASCAR car designer. Jeff Bodine called Bob Cuneo. The request: for country, for a unique challenge, and for no compensation. Build a state-of-the-art bobsled made in the USA.
It was was a great challenge, and I jumped at the chance.
Cuneo knew nothing about bobsleds, but he did know how to make things go very fast, and he already understood the essential aspect of such an endeavor, which is somehow to defy the laws of physics.
When you work in NASCAR for a long time and understand how to approach problems and how to solve problems, control issues, aero issues, the solutions are totally different, but the approach is the same.
And now Cuneo finds himself a master in the land where the sport of bobsledding was reinvented. For a 15-year period, with stars like Eugenio Monti, Italy dominated bobsledding. But it wasn't just the drivers. No one could touch the Italians in sled design.
Cortina, Italy, was kind of the birth of the technology of the sport. There was a man by the name of Podar who did some great things in the 50s and 60s. He trained a man by the name of Siorpes, and now they all have shops on the same little street.
No helmet, no gloves, no stick. Sat there the whole first period, never played a shift. And I think it would be absolutely nuts if they put him on the ice for a shift. And you know, well, the coach is talking to him maybe about strategy. But, you know, when you have groin injury problems like he's had, and if you sit there the whole time, you tighten up a little bit. It's just natural. So if he went on the ice to play, I would think it could be a real dangerous situation.
When people talk about Forsberg, they talk so much about his heart and his drive and his willingness to compete and his want to compete. This has to be, even though he was smiling there, this has to be hard.
But I think he'd rather be there than up in the stands or in the back and sitting in the locker room watching it on television. He'd rather be part of his team sitting there. And if they put him on the ice, Mike, he can't go halfway. It's impossible for him not to have the accelerator right to the mat, right to the floor. He just won't play halfway. So it's better for him to sit.
Sundin swept one across the net mouth. Lidstrom a drive, and that tipped wide. Matt Sundin holds it here, and a shot and a pad stop made by DiPietro. Good start here by Team Sweden. Matt Sundin, captain of the squad. Backhanded one that went off skates, picked up by Modin. No carryover penalties nor power plays at the outset of the second. Sundin a shot, blocked away with the stick of DiPietro, handed on to Brian Ralston, and he brings it ahead. Ralston with a drive that is deflected up into the mesh by Matthias Olin.
The big line for Sweden. Tried to cycle, tried to find a hole in the defensive armor of Team USA and couldn't. And then Ralston countered. He has that great shot, scored the goal against Slovakia on the power play. And good pace. It's always good when you finish a shift trying to get a scoring chance after you have been solid defensively against the other team's #1 line.
Later on, Finland and Canada. Boy, a busy day of action. Another day of 6 games. Puck cleared out of play.
Penalty.
And a penalty will come from that. The goaltender can be penalized for clearing it out of play. The rest of the team cannot.
Delay a game for the goaltender for the United States. Somebody off the ice serves the penalty.
And somebody off the ice has to serve the penalty. It looks like Gianta is going to move across. Right up over the glass. DiPietro tried to say it deflected off the glass, but it did not.
Pierre.
The glass is lower there, and if you look at it compared to the glass that's behind the net, it's much lower. It's about 1.5 feet lower. Rick DiPietro in the NHL, that wouldn't have been a penalty because the glass is higher.
Yeah, but even the back glass here behind the nets is lower than what we normally see in the NHL.
Absolutely
so that has
right.
to be an adjustment for the goaltender.
Bang on.
Glass shorter, boards higher. Team USA on the penalty kill now. And off this draw, it's Chris Chelios. Brett Hedican, and out. Blake up front, along with Craig Conroy. Zetterberg makes the sweep. Puck brought ahead by Backman, given on to Kenny Jonsson. On now to Holmstrom, flipped one for Jonsson, deflected back loose. Past Zetterberg, played by Jonsson. Brother Jorgen is out there, but he couldn't come up with it, and it's wheeled back out by Team USA. Brought back ahead by a Backman for a pass across. Jorgen Jonsson turns with it there, forced it away from Chelios. Right back it comes. Alfredsson, a shot, and that blocked down by Blake.
Blake with a good penalty kill shift. He moved the puck out of the zone a moment ago, blocked this shot with his right arm, and he is sore as he gets to the U.S. bench.
Charging ahead was Drury. Tangled up with Sundin, able to force it back in. Halfway through the kill.
Drury wins the one-on-one battle to find the loose puck and move it out. Penalty kill looks good so far.
Sundin handed it across. Modine dropped it back into him. He moves in with Hatcher, pushed it around behind, turned back over to Team USA. Outletted by Leopold, ahead to Brian Ralston, shorthanded. Ralston fed one for Leopold that floated by. He moves in with Modine, and the two of them cancel. But continued work by Leopold. Eventually, Sweden able to outman.
Leopold's got to hustle back. He's a defenseman. Cole's back in his spot.
Lidstrom, then Samuelsson. Then Lidstrom again. Drive, and that hit off the leg of Sundin at the front of the net. Played on back, Alfredsson gave it across to Sundin once more. Sundin shoved it back over for Alfredsson. 12 left power play. Lidstrom back to Alfredsson again. Floated it back on to Samuelsson. 2 seconds and one, and a shot steered well wide by Modine. Penalty time is up. Modine dropped it behind. Turning with it is Eric Cole, and Cole wedged it back out to center.
Team USA needs a change, Mike. They can't get to their bench, which is a past center ice.
And it is held by DiPietro on a smart move.
You could hear somebody yell, freeze it, freeze it. DiPietro was going to handle the puck and change his mind when he heard one of his teammates yelling. He needed to freeze it because 3 teammates needed to get off the ice and get themselves a break. Blake getting attention there to the right arm. He came up with a big block here as he goes in, faces the shooter, takes it right off the right elbow. Good play by him.
Do you have much protection there?
No, not much on the outside. You know, on the bottom of your elbow and along the side a little bit, but not where it was, not where the puck hit there. You can see the results. He was pretty sore at the bench, getting some attention.
Pivoting back is Doug Waite. Chelios and Schneider, the defense, as this one's cleared back down for an icing. Team Canada has had its share of injuries to deal with, too. They will play later on tonight against Finland.
Big question is whether or not Joe Sakic will play. He moved into the boards here. He's 91 white. Bang, stick came right up left cheekbone. Blues was given the penalty. Sakic was cut underneath the left cheekbone. The swelling last night was bad. He went for x-rays and they have found a crack to his cheekbone. The swelling is still bad. I don't know whether he'll play in tonight's game or not. If he does, it will be with a full shield. Now, Mike, they can't bring somebody from the taxi squad because once you don't play, if somebody replaces you, you're done in the tournament, right? So if he doesn't play, they will play either a man short or else he'll play on the bench like we're seeing here with Forsberg. That's a serious situation for the Colorado Avalanche and Joe Sakic, and thankfully, it's not worse than just a crack to the bone.
There are some occasions where players have already left these Olympics to go back home because they have injuries that are too bad.
Yes, Eliash, the New Jersey Devils. Frolov, who belongs to the Russian club with a shoulder, and Hasek, the goaltender. All 3 of them have finished. They can't play anymore. They've all gone home.
Reason for the taxi squads here. Usually 3 players plus a goalkeeper. Backhander in front by Jorgen Janssen. Well, in most cases, the goalkeepers do not come. They just aren't here. And the taxi squad players don't get to stay in the village either. A shot went across the net mouth wide. Meanwhile, it curled back to Olin. The full strength action here. Second period, 4th of 5 preliminary games. Sweden 2-1-0. The United States 1-1-1. Need a point out of this. Meanwhile, it's popped high off the stick of Matthew Schneider. Working hard, Holmstrom gave it out front. Johnson's shot is held by DiPietro.
That was some work in the corner by Zetterberg and Holmstrom, and they were playing a lot against Schneider, a lot against Hedek. That's just good old-fashioned hard work. And then a good pass for the shot. And then when the shot was taken, Zetterberg skated right out of the corner to the net. Look at the play Zetterberg makes there. Just keep the play alive. He's working on Schneider. The puck's knocked down. Look at the 2 defensemen for Team USA. Now Schneider backs up. Zetterberg to the net, right there. Any rebound? Oh boy, that would have been close, but DiPietro held on.
That one kicked loose by Mike Modano off the faceoff. Play continues as this one is cleared back down, no icing. Lundqvist a little trouble with that one as he took his eye off it for a moment, but it's punched back to the half boards where Modano turned it back over for the United States to Ralston. Back to Modano again, tried for Eric Cole, but it skipped on back for Hatcher.
The last 5 minutes or so of that first period, Team USA carried the play. The first 5 minutes of this second period is there's an offside call. the first 5 minutes here, to me, Mike, oh, it's icing. I'm sorry. The first 5 minutes here, it seems as though the Swedish club's carrying the play.
Team USA outchanced Slovakia yesterday, 20-9. I don't think we're going to have a total of 20 chances the way we're going here.
Fatigue, not as much body work, and I also think the Swedes play such a defensive-styled game that they like to just play the counter. Defense, 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 get the puck, and then find a hole. Team USA knows that, and they're playing a smart game too. So it's kind of like a chess match. Modano's tossed out. Ralston will take the draw against Mats Sundin, who was so good. Watch him try to draw it back. Yes, he did. Oh,
Cole flipped up to the ice. There'll be a penalty coming up from this as Cole is slow to get up.
And he is up and appears to be okay. Oh, man.
Boy, he has had a game, hasn't he?
Oh, watch Cole take off here and watch it. Oh, the right leg was out. Right out. Wham! The right leg was extended, as you see on the play by Sundin, pardon me, and he goes to the penalty box. Cole was up and seems to be okay.
Shoulder earlier, a knee this time, and yet he's had a very strong game.
There was even another one where he was flexing his hand on the bench when he had the glove off. He's just like, what's that battery commercial? He just keeps on going, man. He just keeps on going, and he's been great for Team USA in this game. So I'm sorry, Mike. Ronnie Sundin's the player in the box. So Team USA in a 1-1 game. Let's see what they do.
The chant begins. First power play for Team USA. They are 4 for 19 on power plays in the tournament. It's fed to Ralston. Same play as last night. Ralston sent one that went off Olin's stick and hopped wide. Lidstrom flipped one. Owen breaking out. An attempt there, and a backhand attempt at the front of the net was stopped, and another penalty is coming up for Sweden. Oh, Knuble was right at the front of the net. Had to be fouled. A 5-on-3 coming up.
For a minute 43, Dan Maruelli with the call. It started with a turnover by Lidstrom. Lidstrom has the puck, knocked out of midair right there, and all of a sudden Team USA goes to work. Save's made, and there's the hook into Knuble. It was the turnover and the puck knocked down by Mike Modano that keeps the play alive. Here we go, 5-on-3, and this is where Henrik Lundqvist can be at his best. He is a flexible, intelligent, side-to-side goaltender.
Scott Gomez with Gianta. And with Knuble, back it comes to Schneider. Gives it across now for control by Modano. To the outside, brought in, and a shot! Ricocheted off Lundqvist and hopped wide. Around it comes to Gianta. Turned back onto Mike Knuble again. Thought about Gomez and then drew a man away and played it to him. Then Modano. Brought in by Gomez. Can't stash it home. Came on back now for control by Matthew Schneider. Schneider across. Modano. Gomez looks to Gianta. Threw one in front, and Gianta couldn't handle the stiff pass. 1:05 to go on the 5-on-3 as of right now. Poked back into some traffic, but rescued by Gianta. Hands back to the point. Matthew Schneider there. Back on over to Modano. Then to Schneider once more. Modano handed it to Gomez. They play some catch. Gomez with it. Back to Modano. Then across to Schneider. Side of the net. Gomez couldn't take the pass. The bouncer in front is laid back down by Jorgen Janssen.
And this gives the Swedes a chance to change all 3 penalty killers. What a job. Hardly a shot. The best attempt. There wasn't a shot on goal by Gianta.
Schneider to Gomez. Pass cut. Started out by Axelson. A man falls. Axelson's alone. Save DiPietro! John Michael Lyles fell, opening the gates, and play is stopped.
And then a great play by Paulson after DiPietro made the save. It was going to be a puck touched with a high stick by Team USA. The turnover by Gomez, and here goes Axelson. Great save in a 1-1 game, shorthanded. Puck touched with a high stick, and Paulson made sure he did not touch the puck. He waited till a Team USA player did, so it keeps a face-off in the U.S. zone. What a timely save by Rick DiPietro. Huge shorthanded attempt by the Swedes.
That was the same man, Axelson, that they tried to spring when they created the turnover that resulted in the 5-on-3 that we still have. Rafalski back on to Ralston. Sent it right back across net. Settled down by Tkachuk. Given on back to Doug Waite. Pulls it on back to the point. Rafalski there. Back on to Ralston. To the last 4 of the 5-on-3. Ralston holds. Gives back to Rafalski. Gives side of the net. Thrown in front and unable to pull the trigger was Mark Parrish. Drive by Ralston. Knocked down by Lundqvist. Scramble there and it's forced out of play by Kenny Janssen.
That would be an automatic penalty in the National Hockey League, but not here, as Tkachuk has some words. I don't know which player was in front of the net, but when the cross-ice pass came, watch the quick stick of the defender in front. It may be Janssen or that man right there, Paulson. That saved a goal. That was a pass across to Mark Parrish that was beautiful. He dropped down, and what a defensive play that was. Oh, my.
Every small play important in a game that is knotted up as this one is at 1. Alfredsson and Modano had the first period goals. Peter Forsberg suited up, but at the bench, not playing so far today. Not wearing a helmet, not having gloves there. Meanwhile, 8 seconds left, offensive zone face-off for the United States. Protected on back in this power play opportunity that's almost over. Team USA player helmetless right now as Keith Tkachuk circles. We get a stoppage of play.
I think Doug Waite may have taken a penalty. You know, you can't play the puck when you don't have your helmet. And when the puck went over, Doug Waite had his helmet ripped off at the face-off. And he reached down to get the helmet, and then he played the puck, and then he got the helmet again and put it on. Now, he doesn't have his helmet. You're going to see it over in the far boards. He reached for it, then he let it go, and he played the puck. You can't do that. You cannot play the puck when you don't have your helmet. And Doug probably never even realized the rule, and I think he's been given a penalty, Mike, with the Swedes back to even strength. That's a rule. In the NHL, you lose your helmet, you keep playing. Here, you can't do it, and he did tap the puck with his stick. He tried to put it back on. The puck came to him, so he dropped the helmet and played it again.
Doug Waite's been playing hockey for about 30 years. Some things are a reflex action.
Sure.
You just keep going.
Absolutely. So Team USA have a long 5-on-3, can't score, and then they have one of those calls against them where you go, oh my, it's just circumstantial.
On the penalty kill, they will have Conroy, and he will be working out there for Team USA along with the defenseman Jordan Leopold, Darian Hatcher, and Jason Blake. The guns are loaded for Sweden as Sundin comes in and shoots one that's fought off by DiPietro. Played back along by Leopold. Good crunch there on Samuelsson by Conroy. Squirted it loose now for Hatcher, who cleared but could not get it out. But then it's blocked back out to center ice and a good play by Conroy. And offside called against Sweden.
Daniel Alfredsson playing right defense again. He's a forward but plays the point on the power play. This season combined in games against DiPietro has 4 goals. 1 in this tournament against DiPietro, 3 is an Ottawa Senator against DiPietro playing for the Islanders. So here we go, 1:31 to go on this Swedish power play.
Kind of interesting, the description of the penalty to Waite is illegal or dangerous equipment. I guess dangerous to him if he didn't have the helmet. Floated back on it, bounced through Drury, kept alive by Lidstrom, played back on by Sundin. Drury moves in too, still reaching, it came back to Lidstrom. Hands across to Daniel Alfredsson, and Alfredsson for Team Sweden pivots in the corner. Nearly halfway through the kill, Samuelsson to the back. Sundin blast, and that one rippled wide. Gotten back now by Alfredsson again. Sets up Sundin. Will he load the gun? No, Lidstrom. Then back to Sundin. Then Alfredsson with it. Sundin a drive. Bad stop and a hold. It's made by DiPietro.
This Swedish club play 3 men up high. Sundin on the far side, Alfredsson on the near side, and Lidstrom in the middle. Those are world-class all-star hockey players in any league, and they move the puck around. There's Sundin. Back to Lidstrom. To Sundin. There's Alfredsson. Back to Sundin. Look at this. And DiPietro stayed with it. Made a marvelous save. What pass work by the Swedes.
Pierre.
What a great job by Chris Chelios down low against Freddie Modin. A major reason why DiPietro saw that shot cleanly off the stick of Sundin is because Chelios established body position on Modin, allowing DiPietro to see the puck. It's an unheralded play, but it's a very useful play by big-time defenseman Chris Chelios.
Or you're just mentioning the quality of the players that they have out there. That's another thing about this tournament that's so thrilling. One set goes off, another pair of players of teams come on, and they're loaded with players that are just wonderful, the best in the world too, as that one sent up against the mesh with 46 seconds to go on the penalty kill to the United States.
You know, Doug Wade is in the penalty box because he lost his helmet, and then he tried to play the puck without his helmet. Now look over in the face-off circle right in there. Sundin is going to reach up, or Sedin, and there he knocks it right off his head. That's how he got into the position that he was without the helmet. Actually, a good play by Henrik Sedin. He got away with it, and Wade sits in the penalty box.
Schnookered there, wasn't he?
Schnookered.
This is held by Kenny Jonsson. And Sedin, of course, has played in a lot of international tournaments. And so he knows the difference in rules. Oh, here's a chance now for Blake. Moving back up, he's got Conroy with him. Blake is shot! And it went screaming up over against the glass and is back down into the Team USA end. What a ripper by Blake, but just he went high and missed.
Blake's had a good penalty kill game. He took the puck away from Jorgen Jonsson there. Jorgen Jonsson couldn't handle it. 2-on-1. The smart play is to get the shot. You just missed the net, that's all.
This one floated past Zetterberg and wide. Holmstrom out there too, but it's taken by Darian Hatcher. 5 left on the kill. A pop fly drops out at center ice and hops on back to be turned back over to Samuelson. Out of the box is Doug Wade. Team USA has killed it all.
Boy, they've had good penalty killing in this game, Mike. They're not giving up a lot of chances either. It's really good penalty kill. And when they do, DiPietro's play, he's made probably one good save on each one of the Swedish power plays. They've had, what, 3 of them?
Signaling for icing, but not getting it. DiPietro, no matter. Waite flies it ahead. And this one went careening back down for an icing against Team USA. Oh, there have been some close calls in this one, and this occurred while Team USA was shorthanded.
Yeah, the puck moved around, and Jorgen Jonsson, the defenseman, pinched. He couldn't handle the puck. Now, Blake's already looked. He knows he's got a teammate. He looks and he looks, decides to take the shot. I think it's a good play to take the shot, especially if the passing lane's gone. And Lundqvist, who plays on his knees a lot, his shoulders are at shoulder bar height, didn't give Blake too much on the play.
Puck back to the point. Ronnie Sundin, a shot knocked down in front. Oh, and scooped away by Chris Chelios, as waiting for it was Henrik Sedin. And we get a halt to play.
44 years of age, 4 games in 5 nights. Marvel at what Chris Chelios does, playing with Matthew Schneider as a defense pair. That time he moved across. He's helping take and block shots, moving men, as Pierre mentioned, from in front of the net. And it's almost a freak of nature to do what he's been able to do. The other one that we saw over the years was Gordie Howe, who the puck went in and caught Nick Lidstrom. How about that? I think that's who it is. Ooh, just above the eye. The doctor or the training staff there trying to close the wound as the puck went flying in and actually hit Nick Lidstrom.
They have to get that closed for him to get back on the ice, so it's very important to stop those wounds flowing quickly. This is knifed along by Gomez, but not out. Charnquist tries to hold, kicked along, and eventually out off of Brian Gianta's force. Sailed back in off the glass for Matthew Schneider. Schneider back on to Chelios. Forechecker there for Team Sweden is Daniel Sedin. They break that as Gomez lays one across, nicely carried on. Fed back to Tkachuk, a shot, and it went off the leg of Sundin, out in front, and the net dislodged, and what have we?
I don't think we're going to have a penalty, but I think one of the players there thought he was going to get one for sure, and that's Backman. As Gianta is in there pushing and shoving, the linesman trying to break them up. The play at the net, Mike, when the shot went wide from Tkachuk, the net was knocked right off the mooring. And it was Backman, and he looked up as though I didn't do it, which means he probably did do it. Look at him. Yeah, he tripped and knocked it off. That should be a penalty. He may have tripped over the left leg of Lundqvist, but it was his body that went into the net, knocked it off the mooring. Chelios is talking right now to Dan Marawelli saying penalty, and I don't believe there is one. So there could be a play where the Swedes got away with one here.
Let's get one more look at this.
So over on the right side, it'd be the right goal post. Backman's there. Yeah, his skate made contact with the skate of the goaltender, Lundqvist. And the net was not, you see him, I didn't do it. No, it wasn't me. No, it was an accident. And now they're trying to fix the net itself and put it back into the spot where it belongs. Lidstrom's got the bandage now across the, oh, that, you know, Mike, that's close, isn't it? Above the left eye like that. Doesn't wear the visor. So he looks like he's going to be okay, Pierre.
Just before he came here, Nick Lidstrom was playing against the St. Louis Blues. He was in a goal mouth scrum. He goes to the ice and he got a vicious cut on his cheek, on his forehead, and on the bridge of his nose. And he's telling me he was very fortunate, didn't do any damage to his eyes. But when he first came into the league, Nick Lidstrom wore a shield, John.
Yeah.
Now he's taken it off. And I don't know why he's done it, but he has done it, and clearly he's been a very lucky man.
Yeah, Matt Sundin took his off too, and he had a bad, serious eye injury earlier in his season, this season. But he took it off. Feels he has to play. He can play better without it.
Steered back in on DiPietro, whips it back ahead, and it's cut off and played back on by Sammy Paulson of the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, but taken by Team USA, and Modano could not swagger by as Backman made the play at the line. Now Rafalski. 8:35 to go, second period. The scoring in the first from Alfredson at 7:05, Modano at 17:31. Modano taken down, delayed penalty call, lifted along by Cole, and Backman touches, and Sweden will be shorthanded, and going off will be Mika Hanola.
Hanola was on the back check. Modano was trying to break through the middle, and there was a hook right into him. Pulled Modano right down to the ice surface. So Team USA in a 1-1 game just past the midpoint of the second period. Look at him take off. One of the great skaters in U.S. history. Oh, he got to wave the little tug, and then he got the hook into the hand. Smart play by Modano. He just got the little slingshot job going to push himself past Hanula, and then Hanula got caught. So here we go, another power play for Team USA. Keith Tkachuk on the ice. Guess where he's going to go?
Front of the net.
Top of the goal crease. You got it.
Ryan Giunta and Scott Gomez, as well as Ralston, 1 point man, Schneider the other. Pulled down was Giunta. There'll be a penalty coming up to Daniel Sedin. It's a 5-on-3 and a long one.
That was a real hook. There's no question. You know, the Sedin twins have really improved their skating. And you're going to see it over on the left side. There's the hook. Pulled down Giunta. And Dan Marawelli had to make the call. The second long 5-on-3 for Team USA. Now, the first one, Mike, there were some players like Gomez who stayed on the ice too long. You have to work the power play, and then you have to get off and get another unit on there if you haven't scored. You can't stay on there too long. And remember, Gomez gave the puck away for the breakaway. You can't. You've got to be disciplined. 5-on-3 for 1:55.
Out of the scrum, turning and forcing it back out to center ice that time was Henrik Zetterberg. Zetterberg and Jorgen Jansson out on the penalty kill, along with Matthias Olin for Sweden.
And Mike Modano's playing the point for the USA.
Schneider lifted it along, Olin with it there. Modano couldn't knock it down, and back down it goes. 90 to go on the 5-on-3. Loads of time, 7 3/4 minutes to go, second period. Moving on is Gomez, able to shake by Jorgen Jansson. Closed off by Zetterberg, but got good body position and possession. Now it's Schneider. Has Modano for the drive. Pad stop is made by Henrik Lundqvist. Now to the outside, it's fed by Gomez, carefully back. Modano back onto Gomez, has Giunta side of the net. Modano back onto Schneider. Modano and shots off the face mask, and play is stopped.
Great play by Gomez to get the puck into the zone and then hang on to it and make the play where their team can set up. And in 2 wonderful shots by Modano. And Lundqvist is a world-class goaltender, folks. I think he's in the top 5 in the National Hockey League. There was a kick save, and then you're going to see another one from Modano up high. Pass back to him. This one goes right up high off the shoulder, face mask. Another big save by Lundqvist.
Laid carefully back down by Kenny Jansson, Pierre.
Lack of attention to detail in offensive zone faceoffs. The Americans are a 5-on-3 advantage 2 times in a row, lost in zone faceoffs because guys weren't communicating.
Tkachuk bodied off. Jansson shakes it across. Paulson is able to lay it back out. Striding on it, P.J. Axelson stumbles down and gets up to play. Nearly closed off by Gomez. Puck up for grabs anyway. More time off the clock.
You know we haven't seen, Mike, much of? Brian Rafalski. And I should have mentioned it earlier.
Modano crosses, drops onto Giunta, tried to shovel it through. Shuffleboarded ahead by Schneider. Taken back on again by Tkachuk. Tkachuk drops it back off to Giunta. 12 left on the 5-on-3. Matthew Schneider across. Pulled over to Giunta into the glove of Lundqvist.
7 seconds to go on the 5-on-3. And Lundqvist had this shot come off his stick right into the catching glove. Brilliant, brilliant penalty killing by the Swedes. There's no question about it. Matthew Schneider over to Modano. Modano, instead of shooting it, moved it to Giunta, who looked skyward. Can't believe there was no goal, and maybe that was a pass by Giunta. Brian Rafalski's on the ice now, number 28. Right-handed shot for the power play.
And he has it off the draw, sends it over for the drive by Hatcher that kicked back to him. Played back in deep again. Fed over to Rafalski and a shot, and somehow it didn't get through.
Lundqvist again. Lundqvist, when he had the first 5-on-3, he got himself into the game. Now he's really into the game, and when he gets into a groove like this, he's almost unbeatable. Beautiful pass across, beautiful shot, and look at Lundqvist. He has the ability to shove from one side to the other in one quick move, close the legs, get the arms to the body. They have a great goaltending coach with the New York Rangers by the name of Benoit Allaire. He has worked with Lundqvist extensively this season, and you're seeing a show here now.
A 5-on-3 killed off by Team Sweden. Rafalski has to help this one on back to DiPietro. Clock winking down to the last 6 minutes of the second period in this one. Shots on goal 18-12 in favor of Team USA. In this period 10-6. 2 5-on-3s for Team USA in the game that have come up empty. Doug Waite shrugged that one down. Looks to Drury, gives back to Hatcher. Drive deflected in front, jammed at the net, but it's turned back on, and Modin can send it on to Daniel Alfredsson. Alfredsson crosses, lays to Sundin in front. Save made by DiPietro. Turn to the outside, played on by Alfredsson, back for a shot that's just snared by DiPietro.
Mike, what action. The big hit by Guerin in the Swedish zone, sprung the puck, and then Lundqvist made another huge boom right there by Guerin. Knocks down his man. Now watch the puck to the front. Kick save by Lundqvist right in there. Bang, didn't get through. And then the other way, Sundin, who was at the net, takes off. And does he make a brilliant move to move in on DiPietro, who robbed him? Great plays at both ends of the ice.
DiPietro poised for this face-off, won by Team Sweden. Backman with it, lays it back across. Samuelsson waits, drive, and that one knocked down and then thrown back out. Backman will turn with it there.
Remember, we said Team USA is 3 of the top 6 face-off men in the tournament? Well, the other 3 are all Swedish guys. So we're kind of having an even game here regarding face-offs.
We know there are a lot of Team USA fans, and this is probably a maddening kind of fun for you to have these power plays and not see them go. But just terrific competition we've seen in recent days. This guy to decide now by Lundqvist, who you made the point earlier, had not had to make a lot of big saves, but off the power play, he has really gotten sharp now. Here is Blake moving in. Forced to the outside, though, as much of the play has been. And you can't make stops if you're not tested, but he has been lately and has. Unable to center that time was Daniel Sundin, but they recover, and it is Holland around to him again. Shoved off and held to the boards by Chelios. Coming by is Michael Samuelsson. Still they scrap for it. Good protection by Blake as he was watching the area toward the front of the net. Was able to stop that, but it's Samuelsson again. Shot is turned right back out again and then laid back ahead for the carry by Blake. Near the end of his shift, so they just toss it back in and come to the bench for a change.
Now Schneider blocked the shot, gave the puck to Chelios, and he made the pass up ice. A couple of old veteran defensemen who have just been great.
Team USA has completed the change. Modano is out there along with Cole and also Brian Ralston. Hennigan played it ahead. It skipped off Hanelu and went back down. No icing because of that. It is Olin tucking it behind, and he gets some help from Lidstrom. Plays it on to Hanelu, but trouble for him. Pretty good hit by Eric Cole, not once but twice. The big one was on Lidstrom. Crisply back it comes to Brett Hennigan out of St. Cloud State. Gives it right back across for Rafalski. Tried to skip one ahead. A 3-on-2 for Sweden. Back on with it, trying to control his Hanelu. Dropped it back, and the shot skipped off Team USA and went wide. Axelson tried to flip further, but Modano got a piece of that. And now Eric Cole, the big winger from the Carolina Hurricanes, tripped up again. And play continues. Here is Ralston, ridden off by Sammy Paulson. Not once, but twice, but there'll be a penalty coming up here.
Is that Ralston? Yes. I wonder if Dan Marawelli had turned his body, because it was the same guy that got Cole earlier on the other side of the ice, Ronnie Sundin. This time he got him on the near side, and I don't know if Dan Marawelli saw it. He was right there, was right tight to him, but Marawelli may have had his body turned. Now watch. There's the play. No, he was looking right at it. That could have been a penalty. And Ralston got crunched, kept going, but watch him wrap his arm around there. Right arm right up over top of the man. Now Chelios, an interesting play, Mike. Watch Chelios, just watch his hockey stick, 24 white. His stick is in a position here where the man can't make a play. That's without even taking the body. He made the play with his stick. So, Team USA on the penalty kill.
Brought back in by Modine, lobs it back. Hatcher got there, twisted it on back further, hoping for Leopold. Shrugged right out of the way by Modine. Back to the point, Nick Lidstrom. Filters it back over for Matt Sundin again. Then Samuelsson inside the box. Modine. Samuelsson tried to pass. It came to him. Trying to settle it up. Can't. Sundin there. Tried to get it back to Alfredsson and did. Now over to Nick Lidstrom again. Back to Daniel Alfredsson once more. Shot! And stopped in front and reaching out and grabbing it is Rick DiPietro.
Oh, did Modine ever get nailed? He's a big man, plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and his job on the power play is to be around the front of the net. And he got throttled to the ice from behind when he went to find the rebound. And this time it's just a wrist shot from the point. Now look at the action. That's Hatcher and Modine, two giants. Leopold's down there too to help. Now there's two of them there, including Samuelsson, and watch, bang. It's awfully hard to score when you get knocked down on the ice. Leopold and Hatcher double team Big Freddie Modine.
Pierre.
Big tactic change, though. They have Alfredsson playing up high. Lidstrom over to the right side. He's a left-hand shot. They want him for the one-timer, and Sundin on the other side is a right-hand shot. But the biggest tactical change is putting Alfredsson in the middle of the umbrella up high. That opens up the one-time chances.
Boy, more opportunities for goaltenders to be spectacular in this period because of more power plays. Twisting is Alfredsson, trying to shake the man that's on him, Drury. Brushed on back. Alfredsson kept it again. Off the stick of Chelios, back in deep. He bangs into Samuelsson. It's forced back up. Modine takes over there, twisting away from Chelios from his knees. Side of the net onto Sundin. To the back it comes to Alfredsson again. Look to Lidstrom, decided on Sundin. Lob back in now for Samuelsson, then to Sundin on the outside. 50 left power play. Gives to Samuelsson. Look to Modine, gave it back to Alfredsson. Lidstrom a drive and a pad answer comes from DiPietro. Lidstrom was not able to keep that one in, and the faceoff comes outside with 39 on the kill.
Called by the linesman on the other side of the ice. Good play by both Drury and Knuble, the forwards up high. They kept the three Swedish players who like to play what we term an umbrella up high. An umbrella is this. See the three players? There's the three players, and that's a bad angle shot. DiPietro should stop that. Drury and Knuble, the forwards, kept them from getting that clean shot down the middle.
The men that Sweden has out on their two waves of the power play are so skilled. It's remarkable they haven't been able to generate more shots on their power play. Perhaps that's the defending of Team USA.
Who's a good player? 40 blue is Zetterberg. He was fantastic for those 5-on-3 kills. Now he gets a chance to work the power play. And guess who's on the ice to stand in front of the net if they get the puck? Holmstrom, 96. He is a pain in front of the net.
And remarkably, knows pretty much to stay out of the goal crease, but he is a problem for goalkeepers as he is in front of DiPietro, takes a swat from the right hand of DiPietro as the Swedes work it to the outside. 5 left on the power play. Turn back into Jorgen Jonsson, trying to get away from Leopold, no sail. Penalty time is up. 1:07 to go in the period, out of the box, Ralston. Lundqvist has to play it away from him. Then on up to Olin. That one hopped off Leopold, starting back on is Zetterberg. Twists around with Leopold. Oh, and a penalty coming up on Leopold. Delayed penalty call. Backman tosses around. Holmstrom there trying to turn away from Hatcher and does. Thomas Holmstrom fed it on. Played around behind by Honolulu. Still, Team USA wants to touch and get this stop. Zetterberg to the back. Olin gives back to Zetterberg again. Skipped one that is touched. And angry is Team USA as they go shorthanded with 34 left in the period.
You know, it's a play where it looked like Leopold, number 4, had reached underneath, and Zetterberg was turning. He reached underneath. The referee on the near side sees that angle and makes the call, so Zetterberg draws the power play. Look at Holmstrom. He wears extra padding on his back because people like to swat him around from back there. DiPietro gave him a shot. Hatcher gave him a shot. But the only good thing for Team USA here, Mike, is that there's only 34 seconds left in the period. That breaks up, if you can kill that off, the Swedish power play. And how about the penalty kill units for both teams? They've been flat out awesome in this game.
Well, they say penalty killing extends from the goalkeeping, and both teams have gotten that when they've been shorthanded, too.
And Chelios, it's like he's on the ice every shift.
He's out there now to the outside. Samuelsson 26 left in the period. Sundin turns there. Fed one on to Modin. Protects, tries to shake loose. Got it back to Sundin, but they rule a hand pass against Sweden.
When Modin got the puck, it was like he was surrounded. He must have felt like Custer. I mean, he was just surrounded. He had no chance to make a play, and because it's a Swedish hand pass, the faceoff is moved outside the zone with 19 seconds to go in the period. Hatcher, well, Team USA's defensemen have been awesome. Hatcher doesn't even get his heart rate going. I mean, Chelios. I mean, he doesn't even sweat. He's hardly been off the ice.
Alfredsson moves ahead. A shot is fought off by DiPietro and skied out to center in the last 7. Charging after it, Blake and Samuelsson. Samuelsson had to recover, and Blake moved right in. Oh, and Hatcher lined up Samuelsson as the period came to a close.
You know why Hatcher did that? Because he knew that the period was going to expire. He knew if he got trapped up ice, it didn't matter. Sweden didn't have a chance to come the other way. So he was taking a chance to try to knock somebody in the next week, and he just barely got a piece of Samuelsson, who stepped aside a little bit. Oh, did he take a run at him?
Not a game for the faint of heart. And it's all even at the end of 2 periods. Lots of hits, lots of bear hugs, a few penalties, a few massages. Bill and Ray on the other side.
The Monday after the Olympics, America's team is passing the torch to the Donald.
What are you waiting for? Go!
The Apprentice returns with the brightest candidates.
Member of Mensa.
Fortune 500 valedictorian.
With international flair.
I was a big shot in Russia.
The Apprentice returns the Monday after the Olympics, 9/8 Central on NBC.
The delicious new Supreme Omelet Breakfast Sandwich from Dunkin' Donuts. Savory vegetables and a fluffy scrambled egg, topped with crisp bacon and American cheese, all on a freshly baked croissant. Tastes so good, it's worth getting up early for. Dunkin' Donuts.
2, 3, 4, Vanetta's sledding. 4, 1 more. 5, 6, 7, 8. Silver's good, but gold is green.
Yeah, nice. Good. I like it. They're ready. Are you? Look inside a Coke fridge pack, cheer for Team USA, and win a prize when they win.
If you're gonna support the team, you gotta stay refreshed. So stock up on refreshing Coca-Cola products available at your local Jewel Osco. Drink, watch, cheer, win.
I didn't inherit anything but a work ethic. I started my business at 19. One store led to another, and then another. As my assets grew more complex, managing them required greater depth and breadth of expertise, which I found at the private bank of Bank of America. They've helped manage, nurture, and pass on wealth for 150 years, so I can preserve the value of what I've built without compromising the family values that built it.
The private bank of Bank of America. Higher standards.
Win a trip to the 2010 Games in Vancouver. All you need to do is beat the best in the online giant slalom, snowboard, cross, or bobsled. Daily winners with the single best score in a combined event will be eligible to win. Log on to NBC5.com and win big in the Torino Virtual Games.
This Hockey Intermission Report is brought to you by Lenovo.
After 2 periods, the United States and Sweden are tied 1-1. A win or a tie puts the U.S. in the quarterfinals. And a few moments ago, Chris Chelios, the captain of Team USA, spoke with Pierre Maguire.
Chris, the way you like it, an old-fashioned defensive battle?
Yeah, they're letting a little bit get away. Obviously, they got in penalty trouble twice, and hopefully it doesn't come back to haunt us. But 5-on-3s, 2 in a row with that much time, you got to create. Their goalie came up big on some shots, so we got to get some traffic and get some rebounds.
Down low in your own zone, you're having a field day cleaning out on Freddie Modin. Is that one of the battles you have to engage in?
Well, they're very good on the cycle, and we're aware of that. There's some switches, some picks, and they're allowing that, like I said, especially because we got the North American referee in Marawelli. So, you got to be aware of that. You got to stay loose, give them the wide, and they use it a little better. That's for sure. The European teams, and I think every game we've been adjusting better and better to it.
Thanks, Chris. Good luck the last one.
That's Chris Chelios of Team USA. Bill Clement and Ray Ferraro back in our studio. Sweden is already in the quarterfinals, to me playing with a great sense of urgency. The question is, Team USA not assured of a spot yet. Are they playing with a great enough sense of urgency?
I believe they are. Peter Laviolette, their coach, said they want to get better day by day by day, and I think the Americans have done that. This has been their most complete game of the tournament. Look at Jason Blake get down and block Daniel Alfredsson's shot on the power play. He goes to the bench for repairs and rejoins the action. Rick DiPietro in goal makes a terrific save here. Shorthanded on the breakaway, it's P.J. Axelson. DiPietro stays with him and makes the save to keep the score knotted at 1. Chris Chelios alluded to the fact that the Americans had 2 5-on-3 power plays. There the pass is denied across the front of the net. Henrik Lundqvist swallows up the rebound. Lundqvist has done a terrific job in goal for the Swedes.
0 for 4, Team USA so far in this game on the power play. How much of that 0 for 4 belongs to the Swedish penalty killing, and how much of it belongs to the U.S. power play?
Well, I'll say more of it belongs to the Swedish penalty killers. The Swedes have the best penalty killing in the tournament, 94%. They are so good with their stick positioning, you cannot pass the puck through the front of the nest. The Americans are trying to force that pass across the goal mouth time after time. They need to be a little more creative, and as Chelios said, get a little more traffic in front of Henrik Lundqvist.
All right, the next game for Team USA is Tuesday against Russia. The Russians had a big day today, mainly because of 22-year-old Ilya Kovalchuk, and I imagine people were smiling in Atlanta because he plays for the Thrashers, but he took center stage here today.
One of the NHL's most pure goal scorers is Kovalchuk. He comes into the tournament with 0 goals today, up to today. He scores 2 in the first period and 2 in the second period. The fourth one here is a great indication of how quickly he can get the puck off his stick. Kovalchuk's 4 goals. Alexander Ovechkin adds ones in the third period. The Russians roll.
5 other goals besides Kovalchuk's, 9-2 the final. Here's what Group B looks like right now. The U.S. with a tie or a win can be one of the 4 that advances to the quarters.
The Americans are in great shape here, mainly because even if Latvia ties them in points, their goal differential is 17 worse than the United States. So unless an absolute disaster, which will not happen, could occur to the U.S. tomorrow, the U.S. are pretty much in right now.
All but assured a spot in the Final Four, at least in their group. Coming up next, we'll check in with Jim Lampley, and he'll help us look ahead to the men's cross-country relay. And back to Torino right after these messages.
The 20th Olympic Winter Games on NBC are brought to you by Warner Brothers' new motion picture, Firewall, now playing in theaters. By Visa, proud sponsor of the Olympic Winter Games. No matter what it takes to live your dreams, life takes Visa. By refreshingly smooth
relay. For 14 years, it has featured as intense a rivalry as you will find anywhere in sport. It's not an exaggeration. Al Trautwig has more.
In cross-country skiing, today is the day, and an almost eerie fog hangs in Pragelato, and the largest crowd in cross-country at these games will come today to see the big showdown. Will we need the photo finish camera? Who knows, but in the last 3 straight Olympics, we certainly have, as it's come down to Norway and Italy. Now, Paul, Norway hasn't been as strong as they've been in this great run of theirs of success, and Italy hasn't taken advantage of their home snow advantage. So how are you feeling about this relay today?
You know, I still got to go with Norway, because when you're talking about cross-country skiing, you always want to start with Norway. That's the gold standard. That's the yardstick everybody measures themselves against. You've got to see how am I doing against Norway. But beyond that, they don't have the cleanup hitter that we've seen in previous years. They don't have a Bjorn Daly. They don't have a Thomas Alsgaard. So that really kind of levels the playing field. Today, I think we're going to see a little tighter match throughout the race, not just the last 100 meters.
Is it possible that we're going to have a 4th straight heart stopper? Well, one of the skiers for Norway certainly thinks so. A silver medalist in these games, Frode Estel.
We have a deep respect for the team, and I think on the home ground they will be. I think they will be very hard to beat. So I think it may be. I think the race can be decided the last 100 meters between the last Norwegian man and Christian Sorsi from Italy.
And we can't wait to see if Frode Estel is right. One of the greatest rivalries in Olympic history, the men's 4x10 relay, coming up later today from Pragelato.
That is so great. Cross-country skiing in sunlight can be compelling to watch. Cross-country skiing in a driving snowstorm is beyond surreal. Will this year's 4x10 relay be another one for the ages? Don't miss the great race tonight in prime time. And we'll be back with more of USA versus Sweden.
Sure, the New York Islanders and Henrik Lundqvist are the Rangers. Cross the Atlantic Ocean, they're still facing each other and looking good doing it. US 1, Sweden 1, heading to the 3rd.
This has been the Hockey Intermission Report, brought to you by Lenovo.
and our children to achieve their dreams. That's why one company is investing more than ever before.
30. Okay. It's all right. Third period about to start. There is carryover penalty time of 1 minute and 27 seconds against Team USA. Rick DiPietro, splendid in this game, and in career games in World Junior tournaments and World Championships against Sweden. 3-on-1, a 1-2-5, a 9-5-8, great history.
That's one reason why he started in this game. Team USA's management looked at his record, and it's not just it's his career record. It starts in junior hockey all the way through. So they knew that, and they felt that that's one good reason, aside from the fact that he played well so far in the tournament, to give him this start. And so far it's proven right.
Power play underway. Matt Sundin and Daniel Alfredsson have 10 of the 16 shots registered on DiPietro by Sweden. Jason Blake, good battle there. Hatcher scaled it back down, and so Team Sweden will have to drop back. A little over half of the time remaining on their power play as Nick Lidstrom fed it ahead. Sundin nicely spiked away by Chelios. Samuelsson shot well wide. Modine couldn't slow it down, so they retreat again. Forcing the issue, Chris Drury, but he peels off now as Lidstrom takes over. Drury and Knuble, the forwards. Hatcher and Chelios, the defense. Shaking in is Alfredsson, peels off and then dips the shoulder looking for a pass. Chased down a bit by Chelios, quite a bit. And then Samuelsson had a little trouble with the referees checking. Dealt back in, he gets it back once more from Sundin. Samuelsson, a shot went off the leg of Chelios and filtered out by Chelios to Drury for the clear. Now Lundqvist, then Alfredsson, a change for Team USA. They get out Conroy as well as Jason Blake on the penalty kill, and offside is called.
Peter Forsberg, again, dressed for the game, has not played a shift, and I know there's not a chance he's going to, as they're trying to ease him into the tournament because of groin problems. Quick update on Jaromir Jagr, who was injured last night in the Czech Republic game. John Delapino, who writes for the Daily News of New York, was up here during the intermission, said he talked to Jagr by phone. Jagr was on the team bus heading to the arena for the game. Jagr said he's got 3 cuts on his head that as a result of the hit, but they've all swollen up in those areas, and he doesn't know if he can get his helmet on, so they're going to cut padding out of the helmet as DiPietro makes a save out of the helmet and see if he can get the helmet on his head so he can play in the game tonight.
That's a game against Italy coming up later on. Finland and Canada also later on. On this penalty kill that is over now, Team USA back at full strength. Given a cross away from Brian Ralston. He and Zetterberg cross sticks, and it hops on back for control by the defense. Now Ralston moves up with Mike Modano. Dropped it off near Eric Cole. Sent on for Modano. Little pass in front was away from Lyles, who has to hustle back on defense. Cole took his place. And that one grabbed by DiPietro. Early stages, third period. Hope you're enjoying the coverage of all of this hockey, men's and women's, on the NBC networks. The women will decide the bronze and the gold medal tomorrow. The men will have a well-deserved day of rest. They've only had one of those since they came here. That was after game 2. This is game 4 of the 5 in the preliminaries. A shot by Paulson is knocked down by Rafalski. Punched back along by Gomez, but it didn't get out. Now Gianta spins it ahead to Gomez, and he moves up with Tkachuk. Offside.
Mike Modano trying to recover at the bench, maybe from this. Oof. Good hard finish by Paulson on the play, Pierre.
That happened right in front of me, and absolutely it was a good hard finish. You know, the big thing about Paulson and Axelsson, they played together last year, as we said, in Sweden, but they've been so important here tonight in terms of the penalty killing, John and Dot. It's really important to watch players like that. They're unsung. They don't put up big numbers, but they're great when it comes to the little parts of the game.
I think that's happened on both teams. And for Team USA, Drury's been really good at it. I thought that Zetterberg, both teams. And I also think, thinking about it during the intermission, Lundqvist, the Swedish goalie, I think those 2 5-on-3s, as there's an offside here, when he played so well as a goaltender, I think that got him in the tournament. He lost his first game 5-0, right? Didn't have a particularly good game to the Russians. The second game, Lundqvist won, and he didn't get many shots, only 14 shots. He stopped 13. But here in this game, Lundqvist, during the 2 5-on-3s during the previous period, he stopped everything. And I think that may be the springboard to get him really into this tournament and feel comfortable with it.
Boy, so much of this is confidence. We talk about all players, but particularly the goaltenders, because their lack of confidence really shows.
Well, he said the big ice here has been an adjustment for him. And it seems like he's now gotten it figured out.
Deflected in by Daniel Sedin. Sedin waltzes in along with one of the Team USA defensemen. It's squirted away from Conroy, played to the outside by Samuelsson, and lost on back to center. And here comes Mike Knuble. Gets it across to Blake with a drive, and a scorcher over the glove hand of Lundqvist. Brought back now by Samuelsson. Able to pull away from one, but met by a pair. Loose puck overskated by a pair, and brought back ahead by Hatcher. Looks on for Knuble, can't pass to him, so he carries it in himself. Big Darian Hatcher forced off the puck by Kenny Jonsson. Alfredsson with 4 minutes played here in the third period. Freight train was waiting, wasn't moving as much, but Sundin with a shot. Held by DiPietro, who has seen that before.
The Islander goaltender and the Ranger goaltender putting on a show here. Sundin with a good shot, real good shot. He is having the time of his life, Matt Sundin. So excited to play in the Olympics again. And DiPietro done his job, Mike. He's gotten his club a 1-1 game going 4 minutes into this third period. And we continue to see this, I mean, just a battle here.
He won it. Jonsson shot it, rattled around in front. Oh, and it squirted just wide of the cage, and it's picked up and sent back out. But a penalty coming up on Team USA.
Leopold for holding the stick, and Sundin is so good on draws. He won the face-off here. And when his team won the draw, they got the puck towards the net. You're going to see Modano and Sundin. Now watch number 4 right in here. Grab a hold of his man's. That's Modin, and Modin was trying to get to the puck and couldn't because his stick was all tied up. And this is all Matt Sundin. When he wins draws, things happen. Ooh, through the legs went the puck, and the Swedes go on another power play.
Boy, DiPietro battled that every inch of the way. It was interesting when it was slowed down to see his legs moving as much as they were, just trying to swim across and get it. Here's a feed in front on that block, and they score! The Swedes have scored on the power play and broken the tie.
And that's another face-off win. We mentioned Team USA good on draws. We mentioned the Swedes really good on draws too. That's Michael Samuelsson, who played last season in Sweden, got his confidence back offensively. Sundin wins the draw. Watch this save by DiPietro. Brilliant save. Samuelsson will get the rebound. Off a skate, onto the stick blade in the net. This save here was awesome. DiPietro couldn't have done much more. DiPietro will move across, takes this shot, and makes a fabulous save. The Alfredsson shot was a great one, quick save, but there was Michael Samuelsson, who has played in the NHL for teams like Florida and the Rangers, now plays in Detroit. 2-1 Sweden on the power play.
4:22 gone, third period.
You know, Mike, when you look at the sequence of events, as there's a slight delay here, making sure that video replay is okay. The sequence, Sundin wins a draw, leads to a shot and a power play. Sundin wins the draw, leads to a couple of passes, a shot, and a rebound goal. Face-offs are really important.
Centering pass for Gomez deflected back out. Team USA has been so strong in that, but at times that they desperately needed one, the veteran Matt Sundin comes through for Sweden.
Sundin's now 12 of 18, and those two were huge.
Scott Gomez gains the zone. Matched by Oland, a little hook into him as Gomez behind, angles it back for Brian Rafalski, had to settle it down, spun it back across. Brett Hedican guides it around behind, Tkachuk playing there. Tkachuk to the outside, Team USA with a goal in this game. They had a goal in the game against Slovakia last night. They've tried to generate more opportunities in this third period. They have not been able to do that. Meanwhile, it's battled free by Rafalski, steered back onto Gianta again. Gianta flew one across, that a leaping block sent back out by P.J. Axelsson brings it on to Sweden's possession. Zetterberg able to gain the zone, and a backhander is held by DiPietro.
I think Zetterberg just threw the puck at the net to try to find a face-off. He had no other play, so why not just throw the puck at the net and try to win a draw and see what can happen.
This is a team that has had some success since NHL players came to the Olympics, but they have always had trouble once they got to the quarterfinals. Eliminated by Belarus in 02, 4-3, and by Finland in Nagano, Japan in 1998 by a score of 2-1. Close games both. But here is Chelios laying it back across, forced on by Schneider, played ahead by Modano, dropping back as Ralston. Nicely through the traffic, Schneider gives up on the wing. Got it back for a shot, and that one is blocked down, and in pain is Axelson. Bringing it back ahead is Paulson. Couldn't feed it in front, as getting back on defense was the man who pulled the trigger, Matthew Schneider. Then Chelios held back. There'll be a penalty coming up to Sweden.
Oh, and Axelson can't put weight on his left leg, Mike. You should have seen him trying to skate across the ice to get to the bench as you were calling all the other action, and that leads to a power play for Team USA. Rocket of a shot off the inside of the left leg of Axelson. The shot by Schneider, who hustled back on the play. Look at that. Oof. It's like he's on hot coals. Samuelsson can't put any body weight on his left leg, at least not yet. He seems to be settling down at the bench. As look at the ice pack in the doctor's hand there, just in case. Wow. Team USA needs a power play. Sweden found one. Team USA has had 2 long 5-on-3s. They couldn't score. Now they trail by a goal. They need their power play.
They need the puck first. It's up for grabs and eventually forced off by Gomez. Schneider and Ralston and Gianta, as well as Keith Tkachuk. That's the power play for Team USA. The hard blast around by Ralston. Curls over near Tkachuk, bodied it free. Tkachuk guided it around behind, set up there and held by Gomez, but he was just impeded on his pass, and so that tipped back out and poked off the shoulder of Matthew Schneider, who will drift on back. Long toss on to Gomez, met there by Charnquist and pestered. Angled it back in, but too far for Tkachuk. 45 on the Swedish kill, gone. Laid back down again by Zetterberg. Ryan Rafalski settles this one down, staying back with Matthew Schneider. Team USA has made another change. Doug Weight gets in stride along with Modano. Already up ice is Mike Knuble. Brought on by Rafalski. Able to play it through, but it's an offside call against the United States.
That's what the U.S. does not need. They had to change lines. The first line, the Gomez line, could not get the puck into the zone and set up. Now U.S. makes a change, and it's a Doug Weight line. Actually, there's a couple of centermen on the line because Modano's been moved to left wing. So they need to find a way to get into the zone.
Well, you mentioned they needed a power play badly. They still have not had a shot on Lundqvist this period. Sweden has had 7.
A couple of attempts and blocks. Jason Blake missed the net on a shot, but nothing registered.
Olin cleared it back, and so they'll retreat once more. Big crowd quiet here. Fans from both teams, overflowed crowd. Seats about 4,500, more than that here. Some of them wanting to cheer. Team USA has not been able to give them a lot to cheer about since the score by Modano with 2:29 to go in the first period. That's been the only goal. Played back down again by Olin. 20 to go on the power play. Doug Weight brings it ahead. Moves up with Knuble, and they gain the zone. Knuble toward the front. Pass can't get there. To the back it comes, and it's sent on by John Michael Lyles. Bouncer behind, knocked free by Mike Modano, but taken back off. Ronnie Sundin got it on out to center, and they pick up an extra man out of the penalty box. Forced on back, in front, balls in a shot, and it's held by DiPietro.
Great call, Mike. Paulson came out of the box, and all of a sudden the 2-on-2 is a 3-on-2. And Paulson's a player that had the shot. DiPietro with another good save. Puck is flipped out of the zone, settled down, and see 2-on-2 here? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a third one. There he is, out of the penalty box. That's Paulson to the Swedes. And this story of this game may come down to what Sweden's been able to do with their penalty kill. Flat out awesome.
Matt Sundin on this draw, and it's won by Conroy this time. Played back off by Leopold. DiPietro, with a reputation that he earned in the World Cup of Hockey for Team USA, has brought it on well here, but his team needs to cash in more. Turnaround shot by Jason Blake, ricocheted off a pair of Swedish legs and brought back out now by Modin and just pop-flied back in. Under 11.5 to go third period. No overtime. You can have ties here. To the outside, a feed in front. Ricocheted back and is taken back out by Team USA, and Blake charges up the wing. Jason Blake fed it. Try by Drury, scorched wide of the post, and is played along by Kenny Jonsson. Team Sweden very careful to just drop it on back. don't seem to be in any hurry, but boy, if you give them an opening, John, you were saying that was their mode of operation, and it certainly has worked here to generate some chances, such as the one when the penalty ended a moment ago.
That was a tricky shot, wasn't it? Lundqvist, first save of the period, and he had trouble with the puck. I don't know if it dipped a little bit or what, but he knew when the puck hit him, he better not panic. He wasn't sure where it was, but he did hang on to it. You're going to see just a long shot here. And it did dip a little bit, and it just settles on the goal pad.
Here's Olin dropping it in, and DiPietro carefully plays that. Gave it up, though, for a feed by Axelsson that could not be gotten by Paulson. And it's good to see Axelsson back out there for Team Sweden after taking that shot.
DiPietro with a turnover. It's nice to have a goaltender that handles the puck well, but coaches sometimes get nervous with certain plays like this one. Settled the puck down. He sort of pushes the stick with his right hand, doesn't cup the stick with the inside of his catching glove. He holds his hand upright and just shovels the puck. He's usually very accurate.
Clean win by Paulson. Drive sailed wide off the stick of Mikko Hanala. And so Schneider, but left behind. Paulson tried to center, but no luck there, and it started back out by Team USA, brought on by Eric Cole. Oh, was he ever run off? Strong play there by Christian Backman, and they go charging in. Ralston is jolted a bit by Paulson, coming by and jamming it free. Turning it around was Drury, and a feed in front, and Modano's shot is stopped by Lundqvist. Cole in front, and he couldn't get a good opportunity out of that. Peeled back off by Mike Modano, held at the line carefully, and sent back in for Ralston. Sweeps it behind for Cole again. Modano gliding around in front as Cole forced to the outside by Lidstrom. Then on the cycle play to Ralston. Denied for a moment by the Swedish defenseman Nick Lidstrom. Puck popped on off of Ralston in a stalemate. Cole points it. Back for Schneider, a shot that rattled wide. Turned back along by P.J. Axelsson, but Chelios sent one across the net mouth, and it hops back to center. Cole has come to the bench, and Team USA makes a change.
Fabulous save by Lundqvist again, that time on Mike Modano. Fabulous save.
Played into Gianta. Lifted along and back over to Thomas Holmstrom of Sweden. Oh, he tossed it right out in the slot, and a diving play had to be made by Charnquist. Laid back ahead for Keith Tkachuk. Has an opening and lays it across for Brian Rafalski. Has to chase it down. Forehands the hard around back in. Gliding back for it, Tkachuk, but it's Charnquist prevailing. Dumped it back off, and it's one timed along by Lyles. Tried to keep a second time. Zetterberg able to get it by. Then Gomez battling there at center. Pushed back on by Holmstrom. Eventually they settle it down enough so that Zetterberg can play it back in near a broken stick. Little trouble for DiPietro, but right there was Lyles. Sweden in the midst of a change. Gianta brings it back ahead. 8:45 to go in the period. Thrown back across by Gomez. Picked off the boards by Tkachuk. No one at the point yet. Has to drop it back on for Gianta. Cycles on for Gomez again. Chased down by Christian Backman. Dropped it back inside, and Tkachuk is there. Worked along the boards. It's punched away from Gianta, and Gomez will have to play at center.
The effort's there, but the Swedish club, man, are they good defensively. Gomez and Gianta play on the same line in New Jersey. They know where each other is. They pass the puck blind to one another, but the Swedes won't crack.
Hatcher through to Conroy. Brings it up with Knuble. Offside. 8:06 to go in the third period, and Sweden still with the narrow lead of 2-1.
Just the coverage. They take away the middle of the ice. Look at how all five men are really down low. Now they spread out. And they expand. Now they come back towards the front of their net. The U.S. is trying to cycle, trying to find an open seam. Just nothing there.
Well, it's mistake-free, isn't it? Neutralized draw, kicked across to Chelios. Helps it on back further to Matthew Schneider. Chelios once more. Back up the wing, charging on is Jason Blake. Short, choppy strides. The brakes put on, and he lobbed one that was up for grabs and chopped back on. Good hustle by Blake, but again off Oland, and it's turned right back over again. Knuble a shot, and Lundqvist with a save.
Well, the puck finally got into the middle. Finally, there was a chance. And Knuble with a good shot, and I think it was through a screen, and Lundqvist able to squeeze the puck between his arm and body. There's Lidstrom, the screen. See how Mike Knuble went to the screen? He went right over to Lidstrom and used the legs of Lidstrom as the screen. Great play. And there's a screen shot, Lundqvist. Oof. Another timely save.
Pierre?
Clearly, Peter Laviolette has now told his defensemen as well, get engaged in the cycle, get engaged in the rush, and start pinching. The last 3 minutes of this game, we've seen a lot of American defensemen pinching and trying to jump into the rush and into the cycle.
Back to the point, held there by Hatcher. Lob behind, Brian Ralston with it. Could not center because of Charnquist. Still able to pull away, though. Ralston outfights Charnquist, played it along for Mike Modano. 7.5 to go in the game. 2-1 in favor of Sweden. Lifted back along, and it went by Alfredsson, but also by Hatcher. Coming across is Rafalski. Brian Rafalski with a pass ahead. Crisply right on to Mike Modano. Gains the zone and throws it across. Punched in deep for Modano. Glides right back and got it. Fed one, but Alfredsson was there. Hands on to Frederick Modin. Modin trying to go by Rafalski. No luck there. It's punched away by DiPietro. Right back in his goal crease again. Sundin swoops to the outside. Glides on further. He's got a man to give it to, Kenny Jonsson. Right back across. Backman moves in. Shooting a rising shot. And that one went off of DiPietro and careened to the glass. On the outside, played once again. Bumped into was Hanola. Around behind DiPietro. And it's grabbed off by Rafalski. Oh, a rising shot just a moment ago, and DiPietro was strong in that one.
Yes, both these goaltenders have been fabulous. Just fabulous here.
Backman sails it. Off the glass it caroms near Bill Guerin. Banged around behind. Chris Drury there to take it for Team USA to Rafalski. Sent to the boards and glass by Hanola. Around behind it is sent by Chris Drury, and it's lugged back on now by Hedican. On to Drury again, but his pass is cut off by Nick Lidstrom. Steered on for the drop back in by Honolulu. And again, another change for Team Sweden. United States ahead. Oh, Wade given a good bump at center ice by Jörgen Jonsson, four-time Olympian. Came up strong with a collision there. Again, Team USA makes a change in lines. 5:50 to go in the game. Alfredsson and Modano scored in the first period. Samuelsson here in the third.
Bad pass there by Lidstrom. That very seldom, if ever, happens. When a pass didn't click, he was on the wrong side of center ice, so it's an icing call. You see it's a 500 record Olympic history between these two clubs.
The last 7 meetings, Sweden with 5 wins. The ties were in 1980 and 1992. That last win at the Olympics in Squaw Valley, eventually Team USA got the gold.
U.S. couldn't take advantage, Mike, of the face-off. Well, Sweden's had a strong third period, winning key draws. Whoa!
Oh, a chance for Tkachuk was in!
Offside.
But offside on the pass.
The linesman's on the near side. He was right down on his knees to examine the play. Keith Tkachuk here is warned because he shot the puck in disgust at the call. What a great pass up ice. Within inches of having a breakaway was Keith Tkachuk. The linesman was down, and he had a perfect angle and made the call.
It hasn't gone yet for Keith Tkachuk. No points so far in this tournament in Game 4. Loads of chances. Zetterberg with a shot deflected high by Chelios, but that's sort of an empty thing to say to a hockey player. A lot of chances, no points. To the outside, Thomas Holmstrom now. Fought right to the corner by his Detroit teammate, Chris Chelios from Team USA. Lob back ahead. Nice pass by Blake on through to Conroy. Tried for Knuble, could not outreach, but Conroy muscled it ahead, then saw it swept back down. Clock ticking down now to the last 5:03 of the third period.
I think the Swedes have had such a good period with faceoffs that they don't mind icing the puck. And on that play, it sets up another faceoff in the Swedish zone. Mike Modano, he too can be fabulous on draws. Eric Cole's on the ice. He's had a great game. Well, there's a battle. Cole wins that battle. How about that one-on-one?
Quite a shove on Samuelsson. A shot was just ripped toward the net by Mike Modano. Now it's gotten by Cole. Cole steps to the slot. A shot shrugged down by Lundqvist. Follow-up from John Michael Lyles. Can't get the puck to settle down. Twist with it. Nudged a pass. Modano gave it to where Cole had been. Cole taken out of the play. Modano trying to jab it away with his stick. Out of a 5-man scrum, they continue. 4.5 to go in the third period as of now. Moving it ahead, Daniel Sedin. Lay a little pass across to Henrik, and a sprawling play is made by DiPietro as the Twins got a break for Sweden. Turning with a Daniel Sedin, work to the outside. Brother Henrik a drive, grabbed and held by DiPietro.
Mike, you have to win one-on-one battles, and I'll tell you what a play it was by Samuelsson to try to get the puck, and Cole out-muscled him. DiPietro made a good save here, just a nice calm save. This one earlier was a one-handed play, and that was a good save. One-handed shot, great save by DiPietro.
Onto the back it comes, and it's Olin dropping it back in. Team USA had no shots earlier. It was 7-0. Now they've gotten 5 out of the last 7 taken in the game, and here they come again. Moved back in by Doug Weight, nudged to the corner there. Dumped around behind by Tkachuk. Weight up with it there to the outside. Hope for Gomez, didn't pan out. Team Sweden nudges it back. Modin got it back on to Daniel Alfredsson in an onside play. Alfredsson chased off by Schneider. 3 3/4 minutes to go in the game. Played along by Sundin again, grabbed off by Darian Hatcher, banked over for Scott Gomez. Gomez forced further. Good aggressive work by Nick Lidstrom on the Swedish defense.
He can do that when your forwards back you up.
Back in by Gomez again, and this one will go for an icing all the way back near DiPietro for the draw.
Boy, oh boy, a foot away from center ice, a foot away, and it didn't work, the dump in by Gomez. So it's a important face-off in the U.S. zone.
Boy, it's been a terrific team game for
It
Sweden.
really has. I think it's been a good game by both clubs again. The only thing is for Team USA, when's frustration going to set in here? No scoring. And it goes back to those 2 real long 5-on-3s in the first period.
Knuble a drive, directed back out by Lundqvist. Lifted back on, and a second effort squibs it to center ice, where it's eventually taken by Chelios. U.S. captain lobs it ahead. Knuble tapped it back in. Right after it, Conroy battles there. It kicked on loose to Blake. Took a hit. Conroy came by and tried to pick it free. Still up for grabs. And it is Charnquist stepping ahead with it for Sweden. Laid a pass ahead. That is skated down by Chris Chelios just ahead of Axelsson. Angled off the glass for the slug back out by Knuble, but taken by Backman. 2 3/4 minutes left. Sweden with the lead by 1. They scored first. Team USA tied it in the first. Sweden came back with a power play goal early in the third period, and that's been it so far. Chelios looking for an opening. Cranks it back in, but it is stopped, and no matter, again, Team USA is offside.
Paulson put his stick into Chelios and made Chelios spread his legs where you'd pop a groin. You know, Lundqvist wearing the brand new equipment. Brand new that he received about 4 weeks ago in New York. The blocker, the piece of apparatus that he's holding his stick with, the blocker itself had a little red tag on the side of it. It had a maple leaf on it. It said made in Canada. He went over and got a pair of scissors. It didn't last long. The Canadian red flag on his Swedish blocker didn't fit.
Any Canadians watching that?
Oh yeah, all the players in the locker. Oh yeah, it was a real moment for them to have some fun.
Rafalski could not gain the zone, and so it's angled on back. Matt Schneider takes it. Nearing the last 2 minutes of the game. Kenny Jonsson has it. Lays it around behind carefully. Taken by Christian Backman. Flipped one that went off the glove of the charging Rafalski and back down. Schneider takes it there. Another line change for Team USA. Giunta is back out there. Pass came through to Scott Gomez. Gomez with a shot that went wide. Swooping in is Doug Weight. Weight trying to play. It came loose and is nudged by Holmstrom back ahead, and Sweden brings it out again. Henrik Zetterberg crosses. Oh, got away from the hip check of Rafalski. Laid one across, and it's deflected and fed just away from Zetterberg wide. Matt Schneider scaled it around, protected by Giunta, and turned on back. We are nearing the last minute and 20 seconds. Still in the cage is Rick DiPietro as this bounced back for Olin. Then Samuelsson. Out with Henrik and Daniel Sedin. Pass cut off and twirled on back by Tkachuk. Handed on now for Eric Cole. The USA chant starts at the hash marks at the other end. DiPietro as Lundqvist stopped that one. Poked around to the corner. Uncontested for Tkachuk. Onto the back. Cole a shot. Ricocheted off a leg. Still in the goal at the other end. DiPietro. Down to the last 50. Came back to Tkachuk again. Tkachuk turnaround shot went off a leg. Battling there in the corner is Lyles. Headed to the bench now. DiPietro for the extra man. Tkachuk and shot! And it ricocheted loose in front. Lifted back out. And Brian Ralston, who just came from the bench, feathers it back across. Tkachuk with a pass on to Gomez. Lobs it back in. Cole trying to get there. Kenny Johnson in two. The two of them crunch the boards as we're down to the last 25 seconds of the game. Working feverishly as Conroy. It's freed up now to Scott Gomez. To the back to Schneider. Shoots one. It's deflected wide. Back across it comes to Doug Weight. Holds there. Couldn't get the pass through. Second effort. Schneider a drive. It's deflected up into the mesh.
12 seconds to go. This Swedish club is this is a really some job defensively as Team USA is throwing everything they can at them. Finally got DiPietro to the bench. And the Swedes, Mike, sometimes they've had all 5 players, aside from the goaltender, right down around and near the top of the crease. They really come back hard. When you see the puck in behind the goal net, look at all the blue jerseys. Look at them all. And there's the 5th. They're all there, every single player. That's how much attention they're paying to team defense. Awesome. What that does, though, is leave some defensemen open up at the blue line. Timeout's been called by Team USA. Peter Laviolette very, very much in control. You can hear what he's saying. Walt on the boards. That's Tkachuk. That's his nickname. Walter Tkachuk used to play for the New York Rangers years ago, so Keith is called Walt. But he was positioning his players for what to do, and the Swedes did the same thing at their bench.
How critical is it that the face-off is near the blue line rather than in the circle?
Because all Sundin has to do here is go forward with the puck. And if he pushes it forward 5 feet, it's over the line. If that's what he wants to do. We'll see. Well, let's watch the bottom hand of Matt Sundin on his stick, the centerman. If he turns it over, he wants to draw it back. If he keeps it natural, he'll try to push it forward. Matt Sundin, the centerman, he's going to push it forward. Didn't get it out.
Rafalski held, but then it's canceled out by Sundin. Turning with it is Matt Schneider. Along to Walt Tkachuk. They hurry it in. It's Paulson with the puck. And Team Sweden has won the game by a score of 2-1.
Now they put on a defensive clinic, and their penalty killing was nothing short of spectacular. Their 2 5-on-3 penalty kills early in the game made a big difference. Lundqvist at that point got into the game. He was great. DiPietro had a solid game. For Team USA, the only thing missing here is scoring. Their effort's there, their defensive play is there, their goaltending is there, their scoring is not. They've got to find it, and they will have some game coming up against Team Russia.
Quite a duel between Lundqvist and DiPietro. A defensive-minded struggle. Sweden comes out ahead. They have won 3 of their 4 games. The U.S. 1, 2, and 1. Interviews coming up on the other side.
The tourist cabin is designed to wrap around you. This is Walnut Inn.
United States 1, game over. Downstairs to Pierre Maguire.
Thank you, Mike. Doug, the effort's there, clearly, but the offense is lacking. How do you adjust to going into the Russian game?
Well, we got to bear down in front of the net and do simple things. I think, rebounds, get shots. We haven't been getting a lot of good wristers through. I think we're looking for the big shot or the big one-timer, and I think a big part of this game when we saw Alfredsson's goal, get the puck to the net, get rebounders, create traffic, and especially against great goaltending. You're going to need an ugly goal to get you going, and obviously a couple 5-on-3s, we could have used a goal.
Thanks, Doug. Good luck.
Thanks a lot, Pierre.
So a 2-1 win for Team Sweden. We will have more back here from the Exposition Center right after these words.
The Olympic Committee and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the expressed written consent of the International Olympic Committee.
Peter Forsberg did not play in this game. He did sit at the bench. He may have had some influence, but it was a very inspired Swedish team, something we've seen all along. As you see these standings, it's not a flat-out clinch into the quarterfinals yet, but it's a long shot that the USA won't get in. Samuelsson and Alfredsson had the goals for Sweden, Modano for the USA. Jim Lampley joins you after this break.
It seems like everyone's rushing to get things done faster. But sometimes the best solution is to slow things down. Budweiser Select starts with the finest American and Bavarian hops. Why do we slow things down? It's worth it. Budweiser Select. Expect everything.
We all want our children to achieve their dreams. That's why one company is investing more than ever before in energy research. Because what we dream today, we can achieve tomorrow.
Enter the deep end of moisture. Only new Olay Ribbons Body Wash adds a ribbon of actual moisture to wrap your skin in 2 times the moisturizers. New Olay Ribbons Body Wash from Olay.
Look who's trying to add some flavor to her life. Find spice where you least expect it. McDonald's new Spicy Premium Chicken Sandwich. A real tender chicken breast seasoned with a burst of Chipotle spices.
I'm loving it.
Imagine seeing a network that connects us all. SBC and AT&T have joined forces to create the most complete and secure network on Earth, so you can create a world unlike any other. Yours. Introducing the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
In a 5-hour Sunday primetime, Electric American ice dancers Tanith Belbin and Ben Agosto are less than 1.5 points off the lead as they try to dance their way to America's first medal in this event in 30 years. And in speed skating, Miami Ice, Jennifer Rodriguez skates in her best event, the Women's 1000. Plus, the Winter Games' most stirring rivalry resumes, Italy versus Norway in the cross-country relay. Each of the last 3 goals have been decided by less than half a second. The 2-man bobsled competition concludes as Texan Todd Hayes tries to race into the medal hunt, plus the airborne acrobatics of freestyle aerials. For the latest TV listings, tune into TV Guide channel and go online to NBCOlympics.com as NBC's coverage of the 2006 Winter Games continues from Torino, Italy.
So, as you just saw, continuing coverage tonight in prime time, the ice dancers back in action at the Palavela, the original dance. It's the moment that once spawned Torvill Dean's amazing Bolero. Let's see what comes up tonight. And cross-country skiing's version of the Daytona 500, the men's relay. Coming up next, right here, the great American race, the Daytona 500. I'm Jim Lampley. For now, ciao from Torino.